Good evening, everybody. How are you doing? Dadman Walking 55 coming to you tonight on Friday night, on a really special Friday night, as I'm tweeting it out now again. So, folks, share the tweets out. A special night tonight. We have gotten to the end of season 1 of Buck Rogers in the 25th Century. Boy, has this time flown by. Has it gone by in a hurry. So, we got a lot to talk about tonight. We'll talk about tonight's episodes. Maybe talk about some favorite or not so favorite memories of the first season near the end. But we'll see where it goes. And we had 8 people watching us right now, right at the beginning. Thank y'all so much for your support. Follow us on the YouTube, on the Twitch side. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe on the YouTube side. We were at. Oh God, I got to update that number big time now. We are at 578. We were at 579 earlier today, but hey, let's get that 600 and we'll make Daisy Blossom stay up 24 hours. How about that? What do you think, Kitty?
No.
No.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Daisy, are you able to turn your volume up just a hair?
Let me see. Testing. Is it getting louder?
A little bit loud. Yeah, it got a little bit louder. Thank you so much, Daisy. But how are you tonight?
I am fine, thank you. How are you?
Tired, but hey, got to do it. We got a big. Well, I'm doing good though. It's been a good day. Very busy day. It's going to be a busy few days. And I'll talk a little bit more when I bring in JT and Hungry. So let's go ahead and bring JT in. JT, how are you tonight?
Hey, good evening.
Golly. I wish I had that voice, man. I wish I had that
That
voice.
is a deep voice.
Yeah, and a nice mic. Your mic's really coming through tonight.
I'll have to admit or confess here, I did take a little bit of a nap before the show. I was rewatching the episodes, and well, I think you can understand since you've both seen tonight's episodes.
No, it happens.
Yeah. So
it happens.
I guess I should nap before every show then.
Exactly.
That sounds really nice, actually.
It does. It does help. I've done that before on Fortnite, so it happens. It does. Sometimes you need that extra to keep you going. And hey, to keep us going, the guy that will not sleep, will not let us sleep. It's our court jester himself, the great, the one, the only Hungry Boy. Hey, Hungry.
Oh,
no, I'm here. I was just lying back and bathing in the sound of JT's voice.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I'm an old Orson Welles fan from the radio days, and you got that 1928 Orson Welles vibe going on tonight, and I love it, which is actually very appropriate for the episode tonight, because one of the things that I know I'm going to talk about, and I think Jaycee's going to talk about, and JT's going to talk about, is this wonderful balance between older actors and younger actors in these 2 episodes. And it's delicious. It's delightful. It's the Dadman Walking Show.
He's going to sing a chorus line for us now, guys. Hey, welcome. Well, listen, we got to... Yeah, go ahead, Daisy.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I'm trying. I
You're doing it.
I didn't take it out.
Wow. Nice.
Perfect.
Meow.
And that's
perfect.
Now, for those of you that don't know what Snorty does, Daisy's making a really, really good audio pun there, because our villainess of these 2 episodes is Julie Newmar, who was Catwoman on Batman in the 60s. So if you didn't catch it, you didn't do your homework, and Daisy's going to give you a frowny face.
There you go. And no demerit.
Not on a frowny face.
Check minus.
No.
Yeah.
Well, let us get going. Let's say hi to the chat. Actually, one of the things I will say now for everybody else. Well, let me go to the chat, then I'll bring everybody up to speed. Snorter Poopus Cuber. Hello, humans and other critters. He survived Mrs. 3-hour mega fabulous stream today. So, JT, nice. If you can find Mrs. Chat stream from today, if you can put that in link, I encourage everybody, if you need a good mindless laugh of something, check out her stream today. It was 47 minutes before she got to the first birthday.
Wow.
So, folks, it was one of those. Talk about a squirreling stream that went off the squirreling trail. She did it and did it all on her own. But if you need some fun, go listen to that. And have some fun with that. And the missus was, so I say that being, she is with my mom tonight. Take care of my mom while I'm doing this show tonight. Then I will go replace her overnight. So we're bouncing around. That's why you saw her earlier today. Was in the chat a bit and out with dealing with my mom at times. And then now tonight, I'm able to do some streams while she's there. And we're just switching it around. And we'll see how the weekend goes through Tuesday. Tuesday night, I do have a stream with Theme Park Casual at 10 p.m. Eastern. That is on, so we should be good till then. But it may be quiet around my channel for a couple days, but unless I do something from the phone. But thank you for all your support. And Snortopoopas Cooper, good to see you. Corey Cochran is here. Fellow slackers, life forms. Hey, there you go. That's the spirit. And the great Daisy with Binks coming in. Greetings and salutations. And it's the great Masters. We are Dadman. Resistance is pointless. Share and like this channel before you will be assimilated. We are the Dadman. Resistance is pointless. Hey, that'd be a good one to throw around Tweety Bird. You know, Hungry, you ought to borrow that one and throw it out there for me.
I'll do my best.
There you go. All right. So, yes, Snortopoopas is trying to stay awake because he's an old bear. It's bedtime in the high Arctic. JT's here. Hello, JT. Let's see. We go down through here. Mr. Niblick's here. Hello.
That is not true. That is
Truffle Shuffle.
100% not true. And he knows nobody wants to see that.
I don't know. I'm game for anything, but you know, at least. You know.
Oh, the humanity. I mean, that's.
My gosh, I'm sitting there thinking I like the Super Bowl shuffle, but poor Detroit. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah. And Daisy's on the Twitch side. Make sure you follow Detroit. Us on Twitch also. Yeah, the Super Bowl is coming up Sunday. We talked about it Wednesday night, and you know it's going to be interesting with the 49ers. Daisy Blossom, our friend, is a San Francisco fan, and Sci-Fi Mombi, another fan, is a Kansas City fan. So. And Master said, if you have jumped to this channel, you have to subscribe. I am indeed sorry for your life, but if not, Mexico's right at your borders. Put her tatas in stealth mode. All right. So, and Lady V is here. Hello, Lady V. Good to see you tonight. He does.
Howdy,
I like
Lady
it.
V.
I don't know which he does. I don't know which he does he referred to, but hey, whatever you do, you like it. And hello to you, Lady V. Always good to see you. And talk about the chat on fire, Lady V, Snortopoopas, all the chat in the Mrs. stream was really on fire. And yes, it was a squirrel stream of all squirrels. Go check this stream out. If you watch 20 minutes, if you need a laugh, you know, it's just a wonderful thing. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Daisy. Yeah. Thank you so much for that. Yes. The mom has a birthday. Actually, my mother will be 86 February 22nd.
Hooray!
Wow.
She's due for us.
Happy early birthday.
Yes, exactly. And we're having to watch her though for a week because she's got a procedure coming up next week, and that's kind of why we have had to do this. But yes, we hope for a great 86th birthday this year with the grandma man walking, as we affectionately refer to her around here. So exactly. And thank you. Yes, Daisy.
I said cute grandma
Yes.
man walking. I said Nana man walking.
Yep, that's the word, Nana. Yep.
Yeah. And yes, exactly. Any prayers, good vibes, whatever you do. Thank you for our family for the next week or so too. Appreciate it and all the support. So, and the missus will be live again tomorrow morning and on Sunday. So she's still going on with that. And Simply Steve, hey, which Buck are we trending? LOL. Buck Rogers in 25th Century, the great old episode of The War Witch. So, you know, Flight of the War Witch.
I guess it's a great old episode.
Hey, no. Oh, dear. Here we go.
All right. Hey, this is the way, folks. We have made it to the end of the season. And Lady V says hello to you, Daisy. And yes, thank you, Snortopoopas. We appreciate it. So, hey, let's have a knockdown drag out. Let's have fun tonight with it. It's our last episode for the season, and it's awesome. And we'll have it because, you know, we have completed season 1. Can you believe it went by that fast?
It honestly feels like, you know, when you go to a great party and you get home, you're like, oh, that was a quick hour and a half, and you realize you've been there for 9 hours. That's what this whole situation has been like for me. This feels like we were doing it yesterday when we began. So yeah. Absolutely.
And we're going to take a look at season 2 privately. We're going to take the next few Fridays off, but do
Okay.
plan on me doing something in this time slot or evening because, it's Friday night. Got to keep streaming, but we won't be. We're going to take a look at season 2 individually and decide if we want to do season 2, or if we may want to kick the tires on something else in March. But we'll keep you updated.
All I'm gonna say is if JT had problems with these 2 episodes, holy crap, he's gonna have a problem with season 2.
We'll see. Maybe he's just toying. Maybe he's toying with you. So
I hope he is. He better be.
Hey, Snorapoogus likes your evil laugh. Typical cat. And thank you, Lady V. Yes, birds need to sacrifice a healthy chicken. Appreciate it.
We actually needed that Daisy laugh in these 2 episodes. Zarina needed to have that laugh. It's my only complaint, really, about these 2 episodes. Don't you start,
Yeah,
JT.
but JT's was pretty good. He could have one of the guys evil laugh.
By the way, I thought. Just kidding.
Hey.
Mwahaha, masters with the mwahaha.
Yeah.
But yes, folks, if you're following us on Twitter, DadmanWalking55, go out there, retweet out the tweet. Hey, share it from the YouTube page. Look at the bottom, click on the share and share it out to whatever social media site that you can. And let's see what comes in and who else comes in. No one's last like the Skella God. Yep.
That's true.
I don't know. Masters has got I guess he's got a Skeletor mindset, that braggadocious. Yeah, he's bad. He's going to embrace it and really give you that ha laugh.
And he's been on your stream before, so we know what his voice sounds like. I would be absolutely terrified if I heard a maniacal laugh come from his direction. Like, it would be bone chilling.
Exactly.
Because he would be able to back up, whatever laugh with some dastardly deeds. No questions. So we should all be thankful he's in a good mood this evening, right?
Yes, exactly. So, all right. Well, hey, folks, that's we got everybody. Hey, Corey is on the Twitch side too. Thank you, Corey, for being over there too. And yes, you are telefied. And now look, Daisy's taking pride. Yeah, we kiddies have evil laughs. So, yes, this is the guy that does karaoke. In a couple places I do karaoke, which will be tomorrow night, guys. Rambling Canucks should be on tomorrow night at 10, and Jedi Bill would be around midnight or 11, I think, Eastern. But I may do one of the karaoke's tomorrow night. It just depends on how things go. So, but tonight we got Buck Rogers in the 25th century. So let us talk about this episode. We can take as much or as little time as we want on it because it's really one big 2-part episode. Well, it's a 2-part episode on some cases, but my DVD ran 2 episodes together. That was the presentation on this was as a 2, depending on where you got it from, was a 2-hour, 1 episode, 2-hour episode. It's technically episodes 23, 24 of season 1. Quote, Flight of the War Witch is the title, directed by Larry Stewart, written by Rob Gilmer and Bruce Lansbury and David Chomsky. First aired March 27th of 1980, episode 53426. And UFO lands outside. I love it, Daisy. It says a UFO, but is it an UFO?
I believe most people say a UFO.
Yeah, I know.
But it should be an unidentified flying object. So it should be an. But I think people just say a, a singular one, rather than, I don't know.
No, I got you. Yeah, usually I just had to ask you. I had to ask our teacher of the group too. She keeps us straight and on the straight and narrow and everything else. So
we didn't teach UFOs in my class.
Yes. Yes.
That's great.
Nice.
Yes. Exactly. Well, hey, you never know. But hey, guys, let's see. Emily Gangadine's here. Good to see you, Emily. Hey, howdy, everyone. Exactly. So good to see you tonight, Emily. And, of course, her pupper, Sammy there. Love having them around, too, with us. So, hey, yeah. Just like you say, a ute. Yeah, exactly. So.
Oh, hell
all
yeah.
right. Well, look, this is something a master said. I love my Fridays here. You all have my back. Always, always. Well, depends on the direction your comments and fashion value takes, JT Kirk.
Yeah.
All right. We just don't like the bad, goofy disco 80s stuff and the light bulbs and the fake overacting of music. So,
no kidding.
yeah.
I have fashion comments, not just, but I did take a couple.
Okay.
I have lots. Yeah. I have so many.
Well, I honestly
riff off of yours.
I don't know. Honestly, I just say to make it all nudist, and then you don't have to worry about fashion. But people don't listen to me.
No one wants to see some of that.
Dadman walking after dark.
Yeah.
Apparently.
I'm just curious to see how y'all. Oh my God, JT, that bass voice of yours tonight with that mic, man.
Hey, JT,
I'm gonna milk it for all it's worth, I guess. Well, I shouldn't be saying that if we're doing an after dark show. Anyway, back to the show.
Okay, guys, I'm leaving now.
All right.
JT, it's Friday night, not wearing no tights.
I just watched with Appy on the Robin Hood Men in Tights. So there you go. But hey. All right. A UFO lands outside New Chicago and presents a device for navigating an interdimensional vortex into another universe. Buck agrees to be the pilot to enter the vortex, but Princess Ardala steals the device and intends to follow him. Once through, Buck finds the planet Pandar, whose people tell of their conflict with the Zods, an enemy race ruled by the war witch Zarina. Lacking the means to wage war, the Pandarans ask Buck to fight their enemy for them. Meanwhile, the Draconians arrive with Wilma and Dr. Hewer against their wishes, but Ardala refuses to help the Pandarans. Buck also declines, and the aliens withhold the means for returning to their universe, leaving Buck and Ardala trapped with no other choice but to comply. And when they say the aliens, it's not talking about the war witch, talking about the people from Pandar that brought them there. Kind of not so good guys. But hey, Buck asks Ardala to join forces, but Ardala instead tries to befriend the evil Zod leader Zarina. However, her plan backfires when Zarina thinks her a spoiled child, and Ardala is forced to work with Buck in combating the Zod forces after all. So, hey. How are y'all doing? This was actually like I said earlier, it was a 2-hour episode. Later, it was syndicated as a 2-part episode. So that's why we have episodes 23, 24. The opening credits of the sequence, and I noticed this earlier, differ from the other first season episodes, and it incorporates footage from the TV version of the pilot film, as well as special effects footage that would not be used until the second season premiere, Time of the Hawk. It was a very different opening we had here. The episode also marks the last appearance of Dr. Hewer, Dr. Theopolis, Princess Ardala, and Kane.
Boo!
Boo!
Wow. I guess that just spoiled our season number 2.
Wow.
No
Yes,
Thank you.
Yes, it did.
I've been biting my
don't
tongue
wanna
on
watch
that.
anymore.
I've been biting my tongue on that aspect of it for a long time, and you just read it out.
I missed Ardala, but Dr. Hewer and Dr. Theopolis?
That's what it says, yeah. But hey.
No.
Well, you do get Jonathan Harris. You get Jonathan Harris doing a voiceover for another bot, I believe. But that's lemonade out of lemons.
We got a Hawk guy with a bad haircut, but I'm dying to know what that's about, though. On all seriousness, so I think we may lose stuff for season 2, but we got some new stuff to look at and see for going forward. So,
I don't think there's any Gary Coleman, which is a plus.
Oh yeah, thanks.
Oh, good.
What? No,
what you talking about, Hungry? What you talking about, Hungry?
What you talking about?
I am crushed. I am just.
Well, let's say that this
May I
Go ahead.
May I have a squirrel moment, please?
Yes.
Could you highlight Emily's?
Yes. Is it this one
post,
here?
please? Yes. Congratulations.
Hey! Yay, Emily! Congratulations!
Hey, congrats!
Yay! Thank you for coming in tonight too. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I tell you, all of y'all, like I said, is if y'all missed the stream this morning to the missus, go watch it. It'll pick you up if you need it. But Emily, congratulations on that so much, and all the best wishes for you. And glad you're part of our channel family now around here. So, As always, good to see you here with us. And Stunning snuck in. Hey, shit, I've been spotted. I didn't see you at first, but hey, good to see you, Stunning, as always. So all right. What the heck? Sonora Poopas. Ramon Vega. There's something wrong with you, Joe Bows. Charlotte Taylor Wilson. What? Ramon Vega. Joe Bows. What? Oh, Sonora Poopas. Oh, Sci-Fi Nation. Hello, Sci-Fi Nation. I don't know if I've seen you here before, but hey, off think best thing ever. Oh, wait, that's season 2. Hey, all right, gives us something to look for. Glad you're here with us tonight. I hope you.
I think I've seen Sci-Fi Nation before.
I know we have Sci-Fi Mombi, maybe, but hey, I've seen Sci-Fi Nation around YouTube. But hey, either way, you are. Thank you for gracing us with your presence too tonight. Glad to have you with us too. And well, we're going to wind up Buck Rogers' first season tonight with us. So, all right. So let's see. Oh, it's such a pleasure to be here. Absolutely. Oh, I listen. That's important. Squirrel news. That's what we're about. Stuff like that, bringing happiness and stuff and sharing. That's what we're here for. So we love that and hope news and love having all of y'all around with us tonight. So with this episode, like I said, it started out of the gate really a bit different with the intro. We saw some new scenes. I thought it was crazy because it did a reloop. I thought it rebooted to start the theme song again, and also on the end of it also brought back the full theatrical where they're singing the words and stuff. A beautiful song. I wish I could find it in karaoke to do on a karaoke stream, but yeah.
The other thing is at the end.
Well, Sci-Fi Nation, thank you for the sub then. Appreciate you subbing tonight. Hey, he's happy to be here. Can't believe I wasn't subbed to now. Well, thank you, Sci-Fi Nation. Thank you for your help and your support. Share it out with your friends and neighbors and everybody else. But thank you for being here with us. And love to hear if you have stuff to say about this great series. Yes, Daisy, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. Right after the title song, while they were saying who was guest starring and that sort of thing, that music was very cool. It started kind of like the ethereal, and then JT would know this better than me. I think they did a minor key or something. It makes you feel
uneasy.
Yes. And then it went into this full orchestral thing that was really beautiful.
Very 1950s science fiction.
You had it right.
I had notes as well. I mean, it starts with what is almost a simulacrum of classic 1950s sci-fi music, similar to Invaders from Mars, Devil Girl from Mars, Killers from Space, It Conquered the World, etc. And that really sets the tone for the opening chapters of this episode. I agree 100%, Daisy. Great point.
Yeah.
But please go on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, I was just going off that. And it was, even though I'm not quite as much of a fan of the theme song with the words, it was at the end very nice to hear it again. And I let it play. Normally I kind of just fast forward and I went, oh no, I'm going to listen.
I did the same too. It really is a cool theme song. It's really a cool song, period. It's beautiful, and we didn't get to hear it a lot after the first episodes. So, Oh wow, Sci-Fi Nation said no worries, but have been hearing good things about the channel. Thank you.
Well, in that case, I'll see myself out.
No,
no.
Sci-Fi Nation, you do not know how that makes me feel tonight, and that really means a lot. I appreciate it, and thank you for tweeting out in Discord and everything else. So, and all of y'all share it. You can share it straight from YouTube, also if you're on Twitter or other different platforms. You can do so. But thank you so much again. This is because, like you said, music is an important thing. I think of the 70s. When we talked about this theme, and a lot of we talked about it in the Buck Rogers, where some of us were for that, and the 70s music was not just in the movies, but in a lot of these TV shows. They really gave it an identity. You could associate a song with a show, and how many times you could have just like Demolition Man, the oldies channel. I mean, with some of these theme songs for these shows in the 70s, you could really have a good oldies channel with it. And the music is incorporated through these episodes in ways that really keep it interactive, whereas a lot of times the shows nowadays, you don't have the studio audience, you don't really have the music track in the scenes. It's like the music takes a back seat to to what's going on, to the drama, to the words and stuff.
One of the first albums I got. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I was going to say, and the other thing that they do in this era of TV is properly balance the audio. I know sound engineers will probably, from modern things, want to fight me on that, but I will go down to the very last swing with them. The music is appropriate for the scene in volume and presence. A lot of modern sound stages have the music about 3 times louder than it should be, which is why every time the music comes on, people like me who may be more sensitive get terribly annoyed by how loud it is. Or you see yourself turning the volume down during music, during movies, and it's a constant battle up and down, up and down, because it's simply too overpowering.
And then you can't hear the dialogue.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. Yeah, you can't hear the people talking. I was going to say one of the first albums I had was actually, I think it had about 12 or 14 songs that were all the title songs for different shows in the 70s.
Oh,
because they were so distinct that you could just listen to an album and go, oh, that was, and name the show. And now I think if you listen to a lot of them, unless you're a fan of that show, you just wouldn't know what, I don't know what show that is, because they're not as distinctive now.
Nope. No. And a lot of times, as JT was saying, and as you were agreeing with, in the old days, they would very much be conscious of the dialogue carrying the story. So if you can't hear an important piece of dialogue, but there's music there as well, you had to balance off things very, very, very distinctly. And sometimes you would do, and I think JT knows the term I'm using, ducking. There would be ducking, where the music would dip down a little bit as people were speaking. And it's a very, very cautious, but very necessary practice. And it seems like ducking is not used very much properly anymore.
Right.
And that's recent. And I had no problem. I'm half deaf, and I had no problem hearing any of the dialogue in these two. I didn't have to use earphones or anything.
Well, like nowadays, I end up having to jack the volume up so much, then all of a sudden when the commercials come up, it blows you out of the house,
Yeah.
It's like crazy. So, but yeah. And see, this is kind of the thing I think we've talked about between the episodes here and some of our Buck Rogers talk. About music historically was a background to tone intentions, gratitude, happiness, sadness. Because like we said, I know specifically in some of the Buck Rogers talk we've done, was like how the music kept going. It was almost like the movies. You know how Star Wars in the theater, the music and all those scenes kind of created excitement, all this stuff. And it seemed like the 70s television show, whether it's Buck Rogers or Battlestar Galactica, they really worked. The music really helped tie it all together, like he says here, and really effectively, and it was always, like you said, it was they got a good balance to where it wasn't like you're up and down, because the missus tells me half time you're deaf, and I'm like, I gotta get the right balance on stuff. But it's always such a key of how music can create the atmosphere and really set the tone for it. Where I will say, with the modern story with like Ahsoka was, and I tried to watch, there was no music in the scenes and what was going on. It was so soft and faint. It was like you just listen to the. Have you ever been in an awkward family car ride when nobody's talking? That's kind of like
because I'm always talking. I won't shut up in the car. So
there you go.
What you're talking about, Dadman.
A man after my own heart. But yeah. But that's how music can do a lot of stuff. So, and Snort Poopa says he has a ton of DVD and movie music on his computer. A lot of CDs with the same. Let's see. Sci-Fi Nation saying, I think AI and autotune has a lot to do with why music sounds so alike nowadays. Oh, Pishin 50. I'm 53. Use subtitles a lot. So I'll come back. the missus and I have a okay. So CLS, good to see you though. So hopefully we should still be going. But hey, thanks for coming in. Make sure everybody hit that like button. Subscribe like Sci-Fi Nation did tonight. We're 1 away from 580. We're 21 away from 600. And you don't know what kind of silly stunt I would do next there. Yes, I did, just for the fun. But yeah, but subtitles. That was a debate the missus and I have a lot of times. If you've been around, is she likes sub, I like dub, because I like to be able to fall asleep to something and I like to hear it. But I will say, if you have trouble hearing things, sub is definitely does make you don't miss anything with it. The only problem is the translations though, and she's warned me about it. So, especially with some of the foreign language subs. Oh yeah, is when they replace words with things. Sometimes it's not a literal translation, so you can kind of be off for that a little bit.
Oh, don't get me started on the Toho films and the translations from the Japanese, and the missus is going to know exactly what I'm talking about with that. So yes, you're correct. And please, Daisy, you were going to say
the closed captioning. They have this funny thing about captioning. Not Buck Rogers doesn't have any, but gamer words. So if you're hard of hearing, like I am, you will hear the character swear, but then they will just put ... And I'm like, excuse me, deaf people know swear words too. Why do you just not put it? It makes no sense.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's not subbing or dubbing.
Well, speaking of that,
foreign movies.
Speaking of that, Daisy, with the episode, oh, sorry. But the thing about this episode, as much as I love Julie Newmar, her breathy, a sexy voice that she used all the time. Yes. I was wanting some subtitles sometimes.
I did have the captions on to understand.
I actually did this time for the first time because my mom was with me. But hey, Nation said, I grew up in the 80s. It was either talking silence or Dad's Marine Corps cadences. LOL. Well, yeah, as you mentioned, we get our traditional, our favorite bad girl of this series in this
Ardala.
Ardala, yes, exactly. So that's always been a treat for us to see her and her mood swings and things. But we got to contrast it with War Witch Zarina, like as you mentioned, played by Catwoman herself, Julie Newmar. Yes. Now, I liked Julie Newmar in this. You might have had a trouble hearing it. I thought she was very effective, and I will be honest. To me, she looked like a much better actress when the two were in the same scene together. Ardala did look like the spoiled child, like the character was saying about Ardala's character, but it was like day and night between the actresses and their ability. I thought Julie Newmar had a presence. Well,
you can have her. I'll take Ardala.
Well,
yes, agreed.
Well, you need to wash your little eyeballs out and go to church Sunday because her and her midriffs and her bathing suits. So my lady actually wore head to toe curtain covered stuff, but it was not to say that the actress is bad. Pamela Hemsley, no, she's good. She's always been good.
She's great. She's very
convincing. But we saw the greatness of Julie Newmar, I think.
Yes. Yes, okay, we're going to battle it out, JT. I'm completely on the Dadman team right now.
Okay.
and
that's fine. That's fine.
And if you have somebody who grew up acting in the 50s and the 60s, their attitude towards playing the role is going to be a little bit more majestic and a little bit more operatic than Pamela Hensley's portrayal of Ardala would be, even though you know how much I love Ardala, and I've spoken about that every time we do this damn show. But
what you called this? What, this damn show?
This damn show.
Wow.
Well, folks, hey, we got.
I just wanted to wake up the chat. But the thing is that it's in my notes. I loved the juxtaposition of the older actress, the elder actress style of portraying a character versus the Pamela Hensley and the Aaron Gray way of portraying these characters, where the modern, for the time, the modern actresses were doing it in a slightly more natural, slightly more organic way, where Julie Newmar is basically sort of channeling a female Vincent Price from the 1950s. And that's fantastic. I adored that. And she's also wearing an outfit, since we were talking about outfits, Daisy. You know, you've got the red, you've got the black. There's not a lot of skin showing, if any. And it's also kind of reminiscent, just a tiny bit reminiscent of the Red Queen from Alice in Wonderland. And
although the dress did have a slit, did you not notice?
Oh, yes. I noticed. Oh, I noticed.
Got leg. We got leg.
Here we go.
I figured the guys, like, come on, guys, now.
We're not talking about chicken legs, people.
No. Hello, Wes Cagle. Good to see you tonight. Good to see you too. And Masters is wide awake. He's not sleeping. Snorter Poopa says, War of Simps tonight on Dadman.
Yeah. Nice. And before anyone comments, this is why I bring up the Red Queen, because that's kind of the motif on her head. And I know some people are going to say, why is she wearing a red fruit colander on her head? It's not a red fruit colander. It's actually kind of based off a little medieval motif. But that collar, look at that collar and the way it clasps, between the neck and the sternum.
The top of her dress, you can't see it all the way down, but it has this beautiful pattern in it that complements the clasp.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I liked the outfit.
And it really looked majestic for royalty. Not only do we have the dark, the rich red with it, it looked like a well-made costume. It didn't look like some of the cheap things like disco ball headlights like last week with space rock. That was space bouncers, not rockers. That's not rock music. That was bad disco music. But this was a good solid. I mean, like worthy of a queen or like a war witch or something like that. Not just a secondhand thought. And hello, Lemon Pie. Good to see you.
Citrus.
JT, were you about to say something too?
I think we're skipping over one of the most important actresses in this whole episode, and that's the one that I think is unnamed at the very beginning.
Yes, she is unnamed. Yes,
she is
Ilana.
The friend or travel companion.
No. She's not a friend, dude. The dialogue makes it quite clear. She was not a friend.
Well,
they had a weekend. Yes. They had a weekend with Captain W.
Are you talking about
trying to
Ilana, yes, because that's back from earlier this season.
Yes,
exactly. Well,
that was a refreshing
costumes. We got
a refreshing weekend. Really nice. It depends who's doing the refreshing, and then they exchange looks like.
And then he kissed her hand. Then she, that way, because we've been speculating forever about Buck and Wilma or Buck and anybody, and it was like we finally got confirmation on that. And I'm trying to search back to see that, but it just let's see what I got. Okay, got that. But yeah, it was very interesting to see. I'm trying to look back. It was a lot, Elena. It was one of the first episodes of the season, I believe. So, but back to the costume though. The costuming with this one, I thought they really did a really good job with her costume. Now, Ardalas are not bad normally. I mean, a lot of midriffs, things like that. But I really liked the way the Witch Queen, and her associates were. Her associate also had a great uniform and stuff. And like I said, the red, majestic, powerful, seemed like ruling stuff.
Though, the orange outfit that Ardala wore. That color looked very good on her.
Yes, it did.
And I know it seemed a little funny with the
shoulder bits.
The shoulder bits. But she looked really good in that. I liked that.
I disagree. I think the color was fine, but I noticed that it made her look wide because of the way the thing around her neck that came down to the shoulders. It was very horizontal, and it made her appear much wider than she actually is, which was not flattering. I felt like it should have angled up. I actually took notice of this. I was like, they should have had it diagonal or more vertical to make her appear taller and more slim. to me, I felt it made her kind of look Jabba the Hutt like, which she definitely is not, because
battle
she
mode
was
on.
like a 1-to-1 width to height with that thing on.
Holy heck!
In my mind.
Holy heck, Batman!
No. It made her look curvy. It made her look like Suzanne Plachette from the early 1960s. So, okay, we obviously have different tastes in women. That's okay. Let's leave that aside. But
no, not women. The outfit.
No, but he's talking about how the outfit made her look, And I like the fact it was. I would rephrase what you said as exemplifying her curvature. That's the way, because later on she's in the outfit when they're doing the battle scenes in the second episode, and I don't mean to jump ahead, where she looks totally skinny. I mean, she needs a cheeseburger and fries and a chocolate shake.
The purple outfit?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But
when she's crawling in the ground,
it's not the right. I suddenly noticed that since the orange one was such a good color on her, that even though the purple one was kind of pretty with the sleeves and stuff, it's like, but that color wasn't as pretty on her, to me.
Oh, I meant the jumpsuit, Daisy. Like, remember when she's crawling around, and we'll get
jumpsuit.
To it? Yes, when she's in battle mode and she's helping Buck in the final battle. That's the one I'm saying that made her look really slim, really slim.
The top of that with the squarish collar off, just off, not off her shoulders, but close to off her shoulders. That was pretty.
Yes. I like honestly, I like all the Ardala outfits in this, and I like the War Witch is basically in one and a modified one. But I really loved all the Ardala outfits in this, and oh my God, the floofing of the hair. How many hair tosses do we have in these 2 episodes? My God, Pamela Hensley is working the hair out to hell.
Well, she's not even that. She's working those hips and thighs, because I did one when she sashayed out the door with Buck and Wilma, that one scene. I mean, you could see her working those hips side to side as she's walking. I was like, okay, it was very distinctful.
She was doing it, and when Wilma was walking, because they were both walking away, Wilma walks kind of like a normal woman. We do tip a little bit back and forth, but Ardala was working it, man. She was working it for all it was worth.
There was like 3 inches of sway from side to side with those hips.
Yes.
Yeah, I was trying to look back to see if I could find which episode we found Alana in, because that's a good point, JT. That was right off the bat. That was like, it's funny how we did not have a clue that this was coming, and all of a sudden it was like, wait, why is he with her? And then it was like, he kissed her hand, or she kissed his hand. I was like, this is a little bit more than the line about recharging and who's recharging. Yeah, that's like that kind of like shut the door on. I guess he did have a woman. They just didn't tell us.
I think he has multiple women.
He's the James Bond of space, dude. Come on, he's the James Bond of space. And JT, go on. And I just want to say something afterwards.
I really had a problem with that scene in context of what comes later between he and Wilma.
Yes,
him
let's
and Wilma,
go there.
Wilma.
Yeah,
I need my prepositions
Yes.
correct on that.
Yeah.
And all the emotion they packed into that scene.
Yes.
I mean, she was tearful.
Yeah. There's this whole scene, for those that maybe didn't see the episode. There's a point where Buck is going to depart on a dangerous mission, and it's highly unlikely that he'll ever return. And Wilma lays it all out on the line for him. And I'm like, well, sorry, but he's got a lot of side dishes on that plate. Wilma. I don't know if he's really worth it to you. Go find a man that's willing to be yours at this point.
But let me go with a different debate on this thing here, though, because this kind of hit me my thought with. As I was watching it, as Snorter Poopa says, polar bears are used to curvy sows. I like big furry butts, and I cannot lie. All right, Lady V is watching the waddle. All right, hey, but I will say it like this, though. Okay, and we'll see where this goes. But is it possible in that case that she truly could just view him as a real friend of that type of thing, that men and women could be platonically friends of that, nature to that extent where they're buddies running around all the time, and yet still have that emotional bond where they really care about each other and carry each other's burdens, but they may not necessarily go over into the romantic line? Or did you view her like more than that, wanting more? I mean, how did because you always have a debate, can men and women really be friends to that extent? And because like you said, she really jacked it up. She really jacked that up in that case. Mm-hmm. And I was like, so you took it as that there wasn't no friendship in that. That was something wanting a lot more then.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
She has not friend zoned him, and I don't know what he's doing, but there was definitely more room there.
Dude. All right. To me, as a kid, and as I warned you, we're going to debate on these episodes. I warned you. But the thing is, to me, it was very clear from episodes before this, way back, that she is not a civilian. She holds a very high pressure position in the current day space military, the Directorate. And until she becomes a civilian, because Buck has not signed on to the Directorate, they have to keep it separate for the sake of her career, for the sake of his respect to her. And he would love to be with her, but he's not going to join the Directorate, and she's not going to leave it. And it's just one of those awful little aspects of incompatibility when it comes to romance. And I'm sorry that they closed off the season without that being rectified, but it would have taken at least 2 episodes to rectify it, and that's just the way I feel. He's respecting her career.
Well, and I think to her, if you just take this one incident, you could read it either way. But given how she acted around him in the beginning, like, I'm not dealing with you 500-year-old ancient caveman, Neanderthal. But she's changed that, and she's let it be known that she wants to be with him. And the actress, you could see red in her eyes. So sometimes when an actress can't actually cry, they do the drop thing, but you can tell that their eyes are still white in color, as opposed to when you actually do start to tear up, your eyes turn red.
Yes.
The actress was really selling. I understand, like, the whole thing. I understand that you need to go, but I don't want you to go. And I want you to come back. And it's not just because we're friends, more like, say, Mulder and Scully were friends. This was definitely, I care about you. I want to be with you. We can't be because of all these other things going on. But you're going to leave now, and I may never see you again. And so I want you to know how I feel.
And that's how I took it. That was also very powerful for people like all of us here, Daisy, because there was a science fiction aspect to it attached. At the point when they're saying goodbye, they don't know how the physics is going to work with Buck trying to go into the alternate universe.
Correct.
He could actually die in the attempt. Or he might die while he is there. There is no likely. No guarantee. Yeah, yes, likely.
It was very likely.
And they didn't know what the physics were. And this is something we'll talk about later, but not now, since we're on this nice, emotional, mushy stuff that I adore so much. The thing is that the science fiction aspects of this episode were more than a lot of other episodes, if you know what I mean. And to have the concept of an entire new universe, an alternate universe, and the attempt to go from one to the other, especially considering the fact that it is stated very directly in the first of these 2 episodes that these are beings of light who basically become physical in order to communicate with physical beings. That's actually very heavy stuff, and it is understandable that Wilma would be being so emotional. And she actually says something that would not be allowed. Daisy will understand what I mean, because she said things you can't be saying today. You made me understand what it was to be a woman. I mean, holy crap.
Yep. You can't do that now. Yeah. Nope. No, I don't need no man, you know. That's how we're supposed to talk to. I don't know about the rest of you, but I've had a guy, you know, we've been married for 40 years, so I'm not of the I don't need no man. But yeah,
that was
is they didn't even know who this was. They went, okay, this big orb appears, and then it hands out a little orb. Yes. And they figure out how to open it, and they ascertain that this is a roadmap to get through the vortex to this other universe. And they don't even know who sent it. They don't know why why did this other species? We don't know who the species is. We don't know why they sent it. We're not exactly sure. I suppose this is an invitation to come visit them. Yeah, the weird orb thing.
No, it's a giant cosmic Christmas ball. And then it becomes like it becomes steel. It becomes steel. It becomes steel, and then it becomes gold. Even though when it looks like it's steel, they're calling it gold, which is an editorial mistake.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. And she says there's no seams, and there's quite obviously seams in it. You know?
Oh, but Michael Crichton obviously ripped this off for Sphere, which I read, and he wrote that in the 90s, and this is in the 70s. So Michael, bad. No doggy.
Well, I will tell you, and this may jump a little bit, but the colors and all that, you remember when he was going into the vortex, it was all this colors, all this different stuff. And all I could sit there and think of was daggum Spaceballs. No. They go plaid.
Ludicrous speed.
Speed. Like plaid is like, oh my god, all the colors and stuff that they kept throwing out. But like
the improbability drive from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Universe.
Yes. Oh dear. But I mean, it was classic science fiction though, because number one, this is the same place where the Gorn episode of Star Trek TOS was filmed.
Yes, I had that in my notes. I said, wow, Southern California, you know, I hope they don't run into any Gorn while they're there.
Exactly like it.
JT, go ahead, expand. If you made notes, do you, what else? I mean, is it?
Sure.
Go ahead.
I put a link in the private chat. If you could bring that up, please, while I'm
Sci-Fi
talking
Mommy.
about
Good to see you.
my other parts of this. Yes, Southern California, exactly where the Gorn and Captain Kirk had their battle, among other scenes on the show. There is something going on with Wilma's uniform. Probably because they're filming outdoors, they put a larger uniform on her. And as a result, it is too big for her arms, where we see the rainbow colored armband on the uniform fitting tightly in basically all the other episodes. It's loose in this one, which keys to you right there that this is not the normal top that she would wear as part of the uniform. She also is a brunette in this episode. I don't know if anyone else picked up on that. She is no longer a blonde when she goes to Southern California. So those were two things that stuck out. Now, what you're seeing here is a land ram, which is from Battlestar Galactica 1978. This is the same vehicle that they use to go out around the desert going after the orb. The only thing they did, they put a couple of cheap body panels on it, and then they removed the double cannon on top, so that way Buck could ride on the top of it in the scene.
With Wilma.
Alongside Wilma.
Yes.
But what has Hungry Boy been saying all season, though, about Glenn A. Larson Productions?
He's a recyclist. He's a recyclist. Yes.
And they try to hide the fact that it's a tracked vehicle, but it moves like a tracked vehicle. Even the way they stop it, it lurches forward and back and rocks. It's obviously a tracked vehicle. They put it's probably not cardboard, but it might as well be on the front
plywood,
try to disguise. Yes, thank you. Yeah, that makes more sense around that. And they tried to put a skirt around it. But it is this vehicle. So I just wanted everybody to know that, yes, we caught you, Glenn Larson, reusing assets. I did not have a problem with the vehicle itself going out there in that terrain. I mean, it made sense, I suppose. But I thought it was also strange how willingly they were to touch the orbs. I thought they would have been far more cautious, but you know, hey, it's TV. I guess excitement somewhere.
Well, and also speaking recycling, to back up what you're saying, the beautiful thing about Glenn A. Larson is he will recycle not only his own stuff but other people's stuff, because when you're seeing the orb come down, it's very, very similar to It Came from Outer Space, which is a classic, beautiful sci-fi film and been reviewed on Clobby's channel after I recommended Raquel watch it, and she adored it. But, you know, they had very, very simplistic, because of the technology of the time, effects for It Came from Outer Space. But people were still in love with that movie by the time they were making this episode. So there are obviously going to be things that Glenn's going to just look at and say, nah, I got to use that. I got to use that. And I respect
Buddy
it.
Hepburn. And Buddy's reminding us that this is in the pilot movie, too. When Wilma and the soldiers came out to save Buck and Twiki.
Excellent point. Excellent point. Yeah, I mean, the whole let's touch it without protective gloves thing. I mean, that's a bad old sci-fi mistake trope. There are tropes.
Yes.
Then there are mistake tropes, and you know what I mean, JT, and so does
I've
Stacey.
seen too many episodes of Star Trek, the original series, to put my hands on any of that.
Every single planet has breathable air. We never wear our helmets. I mean, even in newer ones like Prometheus, they go, oh, the air's fine. They all take their helmets off. It's like, yeah, the air may be fine, but what about all this grossness on the walls?
What was gross about that movie was that movie. Oh, God.
Well, that too, but that's a whole other thing.
I wanted some good old thing about the space jockey being relevant, but no, some zombie looking like dude from... I don't know. It just was...
Pillage Prometheus. Pillage Prometheus.
We may have to do that if you guys are up for it one time. But I'm more worried about JT Kirk, because we're 12. This is our 12th week. Well, 13th if you include our preview show, the reveal show. But that's like JT just sounds really down on this one already. So
I'm sorry.
To play a little bit of contradictory here to it. You know, you're not far off, Dadman, but I do like the mystery alien first contact on this. I do like that idea.
Was that a big sci-fi concept, the interdimensional, all that stuff? I mean,
it's probably...
Y'all guys expand this. Yeah, go ahead, JT.
It's at least a top 5 sci-fi trope, if not top 3, is mysterious first contact. That is one of the key, I guess, ways to form your plot. One of the other two could probably formulate it better for me, but yeah, this is so super common.
Well, to be no, you Daisy, go please.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking on the orb, when the small one comes out and they touch it, and all I can say is don't touch it. The actual, because you do watch the special effects, and both the quote unquote CGI type things, and then the regular, or what is it? Solid.
Practical effects.
Practical.
Effects.
Thank you. Practical effects. So they combined the practical effect of the little arm thing coming out to present the ball. But they did this really cool, when the arm went back in, they did this really cool water ripple with the surface of it. And I was thinking, you know, I've ragged on a lot, we all have, on the special effects that were done. I thought that one was very cool.
And they ripped it off for
having
sphere.
The whole thing open. Yeah, rather than having the big sphere open like the little one did, like a flower, this one just had this water effect.
Yes.
And then that was really cool. Yeah, but I'm sorry, I squirreled. The first contact is a huge thing in sci-fi.
And it goes back in sci-fi up until the 40s. We are looking at interplanetary, But once you get into the mid 50s and later, we start looking at interdimensional, which was unfortunately the birthplace of the multiverse idea. But the idea of an alternate reality similar to our own, where people try to interact, goes back at least to, I'd say, 1958. And that is something that is very wonderful that Mr. Larson chose to have in these two episodes. And I really respect that. That meant a lot to me as a kid. And now.
So you talk about the First Contact, because the only other thing I could think of parallel is like, I guess the Star Trek movie First Contact. I guess was that the one where they first?
Oh, but that's planetary. That's not multi-universal. See, there's
that's
First
the
Contact.
Vulcans meeting the humans for the first time.
Okay,
rather than a different dimension.
Then I was thinking, I was thinking the one where they came back to meet the guy with the Borg, where they did the thing with where the Borg were chasing them.
One?
Yeah, they came back to Earth to the guy that created the warp drive or something. Do you remember that?
Well, that was the beginning of that. That is First Contact, and that's the beginning. But the title First Contact refers to the Vulcans finding the humans because of the warp drive.
Then I'm okay.
This reminds me of several other movies. Arrival from 2016 with Amy Adams. That one has a lot of parallels in this whole mystery communication, First Contact. There's another one from the 90s where they tell them how to make interstellar travel, and it's like with a globe. Contact. Thank you. Yes. That's another one like this. There's even some of this. And I'm drawing a blank. Gosh, it's going to come back to me in a few minutes. This is just one of the most common. The second Independence Day movie.
Yes,
with
the orb. Even it even has an orb all over again. And how do you communicate with these aliens, and how do you manipulate the ball or the sphere to get it to open? In fact, the more I think of it, the more I think about it, the more that movie ripped off of this almost 1-to-1.
And in Ahsoka, they had a ball that she had to open. Because it turned out to be the ball that was just a Rubik's Cube, except it was circular. But how do you?
Sorry, go ahead, Daisy. Sorry,
I was going to say, how do you interpret what? Either in Ahsoka's case, it was something that was left thousands of years ago, so there's no instruction manual. With this one, this is an alien race. They don't speak the same language as us. How do we interpret what they want us to do? Like, they got the message that spelled out the letters for the name of their planet, but none of them knew what that meant. Okay, it's a word for us. We can read that, but we don't know what that message means. I mean, if I was an alien and I was inviting you to my universe, I'd probably put a few more things than the name of my planet, but that's just me.
Well, speaking of just you and just us, did anyone else catch the fact that what we're looking at here is obviously a sphere, a ball, but at one point it said that the witnesses described it as a saucer. That's not a saucer. That's not a saucer.
No, it's not a saucer.
Not at all.
It never looks like a saucer.
Or any of the
Yeah, it never looked like a saucer. It didn't flatten out or anything. It always looked like a sphere.
It actually looks like a marble I used to play with in the 1970s.
A marble or a Marlboro?
No, I didn't play with Marlboros until I was in my 20s.
It does look like a marble.
But they did the UFO connection was weird, though. The UFO connection was weird because usually there are saucers and discs, not golden orbs. So
true.
I like the whole thing.
Of light. They were beings of light that were sending this greetings, come see us kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
even though it wasn't really come see us, it was really like, we're in trouble, help.
I know.
Yep.
It wasn't like, oh, we'd like to see you. We're in another universe. Come visit us. It was, we're in big trouble. You need to come save us. And we're not really going to tell you that.
Yeah, precisely.
Well,
And then when you get here and say, no, we're going to tell you, well, then we're not going to tell you how to get back to your own
To that, it was kind of too clever by half, because if you really wanted someone's help, just come out and say it. Don't make this possibility for them to fail discovering how to get to you. That doesn't seem like a great way to help at all.
that was like that was interesting. The blackmail. It's like, hey, we're peaceful, little being beat up and ganged on, but we're going to be cutthroat and bring you here against your will, and or tease you into coming here, and then you can never get. We're the Hotel California of space.
Oh, nice reference.
And the ball that protects them, their shield, is a bunch of interstellar bugs that they're keeping for thousands of years in a kind of a stasis, while they're being this. And Buck even says, "Well, that doesn't seem very nice." That's like a terrible thing to keep them alive forever and have them be your protection around your planet. And she's like, well, we don't see it that way. Well, okay.
Well, also, Daisy, there was a point made by that, and it's in my notes. I apologize, but those creatures that we see in these terrible, like Burt I. Gordon, Amazing Colossal Man, Day of the Spider 1950s effects, where they're just photographs that are superimposed and then they animate them. The thing is, they actually said that these were interstellar invaders that came to our planet, and then we froze them there and then we left them there. And it's like, wait a second, how does a giant dragonfly get through the cold of space in your universe to attack your planet? This makes no damn. Now, I love these episodes. It makes no damn sense, and I'm okay with that. But, and I know JT's about to go off, so I'm going to shut up and let you guys speak.
No.
Wait. I got to cut it.
I got to cut it
real quick, though. This guy comes out of everywhere to make an appearance tonight. It's Mark D with a C.
Hey, Mark!
That's Colonel Deering not on the screen. Well, you may not get Colonel Deering, my friend, but hey, we will give you something even better that Daisy was kind of referring to a little bit earlier in Hungry Boy. We give you Catwoman.
Yeah.
And a more still regal, one of the best costumes I've seen in this entire series, I believe.
Yes.
So. But
top three costume in this. And there you see what Daisy was talking about, with you have the neck emblem, which matches the chesticles emblem. And the cape, and I mean, it's subtle, but it's also I do recommend, if for goofy 1950 sci-fi, check out the Devil Girl from Mars, because this is very much Devil Girl from Mars. Very much.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
I also thought it was funny when they showed you the interstellar beings that were attacking their planet, and one of them was like a firefly. And then all the Earth people said, "Oh, we can't find any of these things in our database." And I'm going, "Come on now. You guys don't have pictures of fireflies? They're bugs." Stag
beetles. There was a stag beetle. Oh, a Goliath beetle to be specific. But...
Well, and you could have changed them a little bit more so that, and then they were attacking.
Huge.
Why are these bugs attacking?
I know, interstellar space bugs, and yet, it's just mentioned in one line of dialogue, and we don't go into it at all later. But that's because we know Glenn did not have the budget for giant bugs in this show. That's why.
Didn't.
Well, I will tell you, they kind of
else.
Well, they kind of had some cheesy graphics with attacking the shield, with the little fighters pew-pewing onto the little shields a little bit. I mean, it was kind of a little cheesy with the graphics with like our orb. At least this was better than that pink orb and the vampire guy thing.
Oh,
that was a bad orb. At least we
the
got a little bit more.
The Nosferatu orb, yes. But speaking of red glowing things, and speaking of Zarina,
you need a prescription for that. And if it lasts more than 4 hours, you're having problems.
But you know the color of the collar and the cape and the headdress is great. But there's one shot, and I'm sorry I didn't share it on Tweety, where she's standing next to some red glowing things, and they have a massive red heart glowing on her crotch. And I thought, oh no,
What?
Glenn, yeah, no, hold on, let me.
I missed that.
Didn't. Okay. Yeah. It's like a heart, so she's like the Queen of Hearts, but it's on her crotch, and it is very direct. And I thought you could have done without that, Glenn. You had us up until this moment. You're gonna have to get our face back now, Glenn.
I wish. Well, Lady V had asked about that earlier about the Queen of Hearts. Was she supposed to look like the Queen of Hearts?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, Snort Poopa says just glue some latex on an iguana, and voila, you got a dinosaur.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will say one of the things I like that I found interesting in this, and I'm curious because I started a comment when we get to evaluate, and I want y'all to get ready to give the rest of your notes because we'll kind of end with this one, make sure we cover everything. That way we can kind of look back a little bit on the other stuff. But
I found it. Hold on, let me. I got to tweet this out.
Hey, bring it up on you. Can you bring it up and I can share it too?
No, you have to make me a moderator to do that, and I don't want to.
No. If you open up your computer on StreamYard, you can. Are you on a computer or on phone?
I'm on a laptop.
Okay, if you bring up your image, there's a button at the bottom called Present.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and you can share your screen. Oh. You can present it, and I can share your image. That's what JT did earlier with the other.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me see.
Earlier JT gave me a link, but yeah, JT's.
Do I choose slides?
Yeah,
from computer. Okay. We currently support Google Slides or video. Upload file. Do I do upload file?
No. Just open it, and then at the bottom, you see on your bottom of your StreamYard, there's a present screen.
I see that. That's what I'm looking at.
And you present your screen. You present the image, highlight the image on the screen, and then I can bring it up.
Oh yeah. You don't show us your browser history.
Yeah, just don't.
No, that's a very good. That's a very good thing. Yeah. Hold on. I gotta pull down the other screens I got in the background.
Yeah, exactly. If you can do that, or you can send me the link, and I can do what JT did. Either way, you can send me the link in the private chat, or I can share screen.
It's not a link. I had to make the JPEG myself.
Okay. Okay. Good. Yeah, if you can.
I'm gonna put it on Tweety, which is faster, and then you can look it up.
God, you're gonna make me work. Okay, we can do.
Yeah, I am.
But anytime, like if you're using two monitors, you can bring up an image on your computer, and you can present the image, and then you do share screen, and then I can show it. So just don't hit the delete button, Liam. Hey, Liam. Good to see you.
Give me 1 second.
Hi, Liam.
The Buck Show.
They're shrimp. They're not prawns, Mark D with a C. They're They're shrimp, not prawns.
People are saying the villainess here looked like the Queen of Hearts from Alice in Wonderland.
Yep. That's what I said at the beginning. Yes.
Yep.
I was totally getting a TNG kind of vibe. Black shoulders and the horizontal transition into a red in the middle.
Yeah.
I thought she was on the command track.
Oh, I thought she was like Q or something.
You know what she looks a little bit like? The guy who's the Q.
Q, yeah.
No?
I think she could be commander and kick number one off the bridge.
Oh.
Okay, it's posted on Tweety, and I highlighted I hashtagged you, Dadman.
You're absolutely right.
There's a big red heart on her woohoo.
Okay. Well, let me see.
I'm trying to find you on TwitTwat.
I'm never going to call it X. Never.
Never.
Not gonna happen.
I've always called it TwitTwat. Why would I call it anything else?
Exactly.
Let me search.
All right. Let's
find you, dude.
Let me do this. I'm trying to. I hit a screen. Stop screen.
I see it.
Stop screen.
Oh my goodness, you're right.
Yeah, that's...
Look at that. Look at that.
Holy.
Did you Photoshop that? I mean, there's
No, I did not Photoshop that. No, that is actually in the MP4 that I downloaded from archive.org.
Wow. Well,
Let's see this.
I
The
was
red bits
fixated
are
on what she and
strategically
and
placed.
her and her underling were doing with he was the transmorph thing and
Yes.
going to mess up the cells in his body, and I was focusing on that and not on this.
It's a bit direct. I mean,
Yes.
there are no
Folks,
honestly, there are no red lights in this scene going on. So where is that coming from? Why?
Folks,
why
I am
is that
endeavoring
there?
to get this image for y'all. So let's see.
Well, there must be 4 red lights.
If there are 4 red lights, she spent too much time in Sweden back in the 1960s, dude. You know what I mean? But
Oh boy.
All right, let's try again. Okay. So
I made Daisy cackle. That's my job
There you
for
go.
the day. That's my job. I did my job.
All right, folks. I am endeavoring to bring this image up, so we will get it in just a second.
Yeah, Mark, it is on Twit Twat.
I'll be right back.
Yeah. All right. So we'll see.
I don't have Twit Twat on my computer, or I do the present thing.
Yeah, I'm cutting off the image to cut off some of the stuff around the sides, though, so I don't show certain things. Yeah,
because it's a tweet.
All right. So here, folks, this is the image that he was talking about, and we're going to do here. Oh shoot!
Oh yeah.
I'm
it
cutting
goes down farther than
that.
that.
I know. I just realized I miscut that image.
Sorry.
Let me go here. Let me see.
It's got to be some sort of reflection.
Yeah, let me try it again. Let me get a better shot of y'all. So.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Or there's light behind her, and it's the way she's standing.
Here we go.
I think no, buddy.
She doesn't have that. It doesn't appear in the rest of.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. So I mean, but the thing is, an editor, a director, a cinematographer should have caught this and said, "No."
But wait, Snortopoopus. I thought this was decided by masters today. I don't do science. I do math, not science. Red light's part of the containment thing. The blonde guy's in. See, I kind of agree with Buddy in a way.
I don't. I love Buddy, but I don't agree with that. This is an accident. This is a total act. There you go.
I don't think they did it on purpose. Something
but look, but the funny thing is there's a big Black Widow aspect to this character, and Black Widows have been a major thing in comic books and science fiction, and it's like the Black Widow emblem on the abdomen of a Black Widow.
Hungry for you to get this, you might as well go to her door knockers, because look, they're 2 little red spots there too.
Excuse me, what did you just call her?
Move up from where he was focusing up a little bit. They got like 2 eyes right there.
That is not what. No, sir. I don't care what grade you got in school. We do not refer to them as door knockers.
I didn't know how else to say it, Daisy. I'm sorry. But now it's like a smiling face at you. You got the 2 eyeballs.
Thank you.
Look at that. Let's see if I can.
It is so direct. Look, I mean, it is so obvious.
I did not see this show going in this direction tonight.
I smile. I smile. He just doesn't have a nose.
Well, somebody's smiling anyway.
Yes.
I mean, if we could be nice for Daisy, because you have to teach some vocabulary to the youngins every so often. It's not so much a heart as much as it is a chevron. Oh my God, it's a chevron pointing down. Oh, Glenn, what were you thinking, Glenn?
He wasn't.
He wasn't.
Whoever they were thinking.
He was thinking, just not.
Someone
he was thinking
that photo. There you go. Someone made that photo. Daisy, you're a meme creator, I know.
I mean, I was watching this. Daisy, I was watching this. I was rewatching this for the second time, which actually is technically the third time because I saw it as a kid. When I was a kid, I was like, "Why is that there?" And then, I was watching it last night, going, "Oh, I did not imagine it. It's not the Mandela effect. It was there,
dude.
And why is it there?"
Oh, that's Stargate. But it's smiling at me now. It's like I can't get that out of my head now.
Well, to be okay, Dadman, to be fair to you,
guys. Yeah.
There is both of these episodes, which we'll just call one big episode, okay? But I look at it as a two-parter. The thing is, this is one of the horniest episodes in the Buck Rogers canon. There is a lot of flirtation.
Well, we got Darla. We got Ardala after Buck. Buck playing back. Buck kissing the girls at the beginning. He's
got 3 women. 4. He's got 4. The lady at the beginning, Wilma.
Yes.
Ardala, and then
Ilana.
The witch. Yeah.
Plus Ilana, yes. It's a very horny episode.
Yeah, I mean,
and that's not including all of the female creatures that are in suspended animation as shields around the planet. I mean, come on.
Yeah, folks, we got 14 or 15 people with us tonight. Thank y'all for being here. Follow us on Twitch. Hit that like, subscribe on YouTube. Bring your friends. This is the fun we can have. We make science fiction fun.
Now I'm glad I caught this for you guys. Now I'm glad I caught this for you because you didn't see it.
I cannot get a face out. I'm going to have nightmares about that. I'm going to see that face tonight looking at me.
It's not a face. It's her. Never mind. When Buck went to see Ardala, and in the background, one of her servants was holding, part of an outfit for her.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when Buck came in, the servant girl was like drooling over Buck.
Yes, true.
And then Ardala sent her out, and I'm going, wow, okay.
Wait a minute. Talking about servant girls at the beginning, I mean, Daisy, I'm sure you noticed this, and I'm pretty sure JT did as well. We have another Ardala massage scene, and did you see all the servant girls around her?
I did notice that.
I'm going every time the gentleman comes in to talk to her, that's what she's doing.
Yeah.
She's laying there in
Kane, you mean? Yes. Kane.
Yeah, Kane. I like him. I like that.
And Sarah is wonderful, but so was Edward. Yes. So was De Silva, who played him beforehand. But yes, keep going, Daisy, please.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you had a stressful job like that, wouldn't you be needing massages all the time?
Apparently.
I'm just kind of envious, honestly, that she can afford that many professional masseuses.
Yeah.
Daisy, to back up what you're saying, but no, she actually says, "Bring me Tiger Man," and Kane says, "Well, I'm sorry, Princess, I cannot." Why? Well, he is with your sisters. Okay, horniness in this episode. I mean, we know, okay, why would the sisters be asking for Tiger Man? There is only one reason. We know the sisters are not going into combat training. Okay, they're not doing that. They're not asking for tattoo advice, as he's got tattoos all over him. There's only one reason to ask for Tiger Man. Only one reason. And now he's unavailable because of her sisters that she complained about the first time we ever saw her in this show. Bring on Panther Man.
Tiger Man was there to barbecue for her and stuff, right? I mean, that's all he was doing. He wasn't up to no, because it's the 1970s. They didn't do stuff. Everybody was, anyway.
Lucy and Goosey.
I was so naive in the 70s.
Though. She did like the replacement, Panther Man. She did.
And keep going, Daisy. Keep going, Daisy. Keep going.
Was that a weightlifter or?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because that body he was holding those arms out, and I mean, those biceps were
that. Yeah,
those were biceps.
The outfit was very interesting.
Could someone answer this for me? Could he not put his arms down all the way, or was that a flex pose that he was doing that they told him to do to make him look even bigger bicep than what he did? Because if he truly could not put his arms down, that would be a miserable existence at that point.
Exactly. Well, let's get to one more character that they had here. And I want you guys to make sure you get through your show notes, what y'all made here. Let's make sure we cover.
Damn it! With what we're talking about tonight, because it's the end of the series, at least we're ending on a bang.
Yes, we are. Might give us something to shoot for season 2.
Daisy got it.
To go season 2, but hey, this one here.
Sid Haig. Yes.
So I'm not familiar with him. What else has he done, Hungry?
Oh God, he's been in tons of stuff. I mean, he was in Jason the Star Command. He played the villain of that in 1970s sci-fi children's shows. He has been in numerous films that have been mocked by MST3K and Riff Tracks. He was actually one of the head villains in Rob Zombie movies. So he was in House of a Thousand Corpses as Captain Spaulding, and then again in The Devil's Rejects. He has been Jason the Star Command. Thank you, Mark, for remembering. And he has been in numerous Philippine action exploitation films as well. His IMDb list is huge and mighty, as Nick would say, huge. And mighty. And he just goes on forever. And sadly, we lost him a couple of years ago. But he just, he ages very well. He's older than he looks here. He's actually much older than he looks here. And so he had good innings, as we say, regarding when he died. Also, he would play anything. Thank you, buddy. Thank you.
Dragos,
He would play any role where he got a fair wage for, but he would do that role to the utmost of his ability, which a lot of actors do not, particularly with genre material. And he actually played it very right. We're going to get to the end of it, for episode 2, but there's a point where Serena says, engines full reverse, and he just looks at her like she's an idiot and says, we're going too fast for that.
I loved that. Yes. But then she has a crappy scream to follow that line up, and I'm just like,
I will say, for all the Julie Newmar's great acting, that scream was like, left a lot to be desired. And he was also in Batman?
From a fantastic end of that part of the movie, the two-parter, into like a Spaceballs level thing.
Oh God,
with her scream.
She shouldn't have screamed. If it had just ended with him saying we're going too fast and the look on their face, that would have been her scream.
Well, I think that was the director thing and Glenn Larson, because as we know, all four of us, a lot of times the producer is going to tell the director, no, that's not right. And or he's going to say, this is what I want. All right. Yeah. Don't do this, do that. And I think that was a Glenn Larson moment. I don't think that was the fault of either the director or Julie Newmar or the screenwriter. Although the screenwriter could have just put the term action line, Zamira screams. They could have put that in the script.
Well, that was really an odd ending there with
because
that.
She'd done so well before that for me.
Yeah.
With her mannerisms and the way she spoke and her, I'm an adult, you're a child.
Oh, in my notes, yes.
The whole aura or presentation, and then she does this terrible scream at the end, and I'm going, why did they have her do that?
Yes. Exactly. I will say one thing though, if we're sticking on this gentleman, real quick,
Sid Haig,
Dadman, if you could bring the picture back up, this costume had to have been miserable to wear and even more miserable to smell.
Like those polyester winter jackets.
Yes, I was going to say, Dadman, I don't know if you're aware of it, but this is like a poofy jacket that you would wear in the wintertime.
Yep.
Right.
They do not breathe at all, and this one is up around his neck.
This is like something they wore in Better Off Dead.
It's a skiing outfit.
Yes, exactly. Better Off Dead had skiing, and it looked like those skiing jackets with the poof. And
I had to wear that crap.
How they got this without water, sweat just streaming around his head, getting into his face, we'll never know.
They have to deal with the overhang on the shoulders. It's like the little ants up there getting a shelter from the rain, because it's like, we had the collars and all the stuff we've seen on all the outfits, but like now the shoulders have collars.
Well, I mean, part of
sci-fi.
Well, I mean, part of this also is you have to remember that Sid Haig is a guy, like I said, who would take any job, and he did a lot of these Filipino film jobs, and he would be asked on occasion, he said this in one interview that's no longer sadly on the internet. They said, "Why should we hire you?" He said, "I'm willing to work in the heat for the same money."
Oh, wow.
Oh, there you go.
Because he could handle it. He
works.
could handle the heat, dude. He could handle the heat. So he spent a lot of time in Las Vegas, apparently, but that's all right.
In West Kegel, I do agree. Glenn Larson did amazing stuff. Original Battlestar Galactica is legend.
Yes.
We do have a stream on our channel where I think it was Hungry and JT with Lisa, where we all talked about the original Battlestar Galactica. And you never know. Maybe one day that may be a series we may come together and do some, more work on and extensively. So, love that. I we kind of have the fun. It's always good to pick on the people we like Glenn Larson, and copies and retreads and see this, that. He even used Battlestar Galactica helmets in one of the earlier episodes,
Oh yeah.
those type of things. We have fun with it, but it's definitely.
Oh, and the pew pew, all the pew pew sounds are basically from Battlestar Galactica.
Okay.
Even in an alternate universe where those should not exist.
Okay.
We'll leave that alone.
But I will tell you, one of the great highlights of this episode, and I can already hear the groaning and growling and stuff, but the pew pew. There's plenty of pew pew. I got all the pew pew I wanted in the hangar, in the hallways, on the friggin' planet where they kind of came in, and we got space battles. Yes.
But you also got the soldiers from Spaceballs with the
black
helmets.
Yes.
I just had to point that out. I was like, oh, the Spaceballs bad guys are in this.
Yes.
Hungary, speaking of sounds.
Yes.
Okay, so when they got to Pendar, the planet, and the council appears, that sound, is that the sound from War of the Worlds when they materialize and dematerialize?
I'd have to listen to it again, but I think it is a similar sound, and Glenn A. Larson has used War of the Worlds 1953 sounds before. He has done that. And as we mentioned before, there was a time when you said, "Oh, what are these sounds in the laboratory?" And I said, "Well, Glenn's using $6 Million Man sounds." Right. And so if it comes from a certain studio, then you have access to the sounds that are owned or created by that studio, so you can reuse them. And I think Glenn was doing a lot of that.
Okay.
A lot of that.
Because I heard it a couple times, and it was a very pretty sound, and I was thinking, I'm pretty sure that's what the one of the sounds that the aliens made.
Phantom Outsider, welcome.
Hey, Fanny.
I do want to bring up something with Daisy right now that JT will.
Let me say something to keep. No, you do that, but I want to put in. Have we covered all the science fiction elements that y'all saw?
No, that's what I'm bringing up. No, that's what I'm about to bring up.
Okay, go ahead. I'm going to sit back. Y'all go ahead. Y'all are the experts.
Okay, so this is not a statement. This is a question for JT and Daisy. All right. So we have the idea that they needed to send Buck into the foreign universe, the alternate universe, because he's a Terran and he's organic. However, AI, particularly Dr. Theopolis and all his kin, have been citizens, as we saw before, citizens on Earth. They are actually part of the Law Council for more than 200 years, according to what we've already seen. So why was it necessary to send Buck as an organic individual versus Dr. Theopolis or one of his kin, one of the AI, to the alternate universe when they've already got personalities and the ability to extrapolate?
Well, I agree.
Yeah.
They should have sent Tweaky and Theopolis. I agree completely. I think the reason they did not do that was Buck is an astronaut, used to taking this risk and an explorer. And so he is willing to risk himself on that because that is completely who he is, because the space shuttle in many ways, I mean, it's impossible to compare the odds of successful missions. Were dangerous back then, and space travel, especially, I mean, it always has been, it still is today, but it was understood back then in the 70s as being very, very dangerous with all of the problems with Gemini, Mercury, Apollo, the Soviet programs. And so Buck is that penultimate risk taker in the name of exploration and what's out there. So I agree with you on one level completely, Hungry, that yes, they would have sent Dr. Theopolis. They should have, but they had this just screaming out, we're going to send Buck for the reason you mentioned.
Okay. Well, they also said that so they've said in prior episodes that the humans were relying too much on the computers to target, and that his reactions not using a targeting system or their AI system worked better. And they did refer to he would be able to make calculations or change the path he was taking better than faster than the AI. They did say that. Although that's a very good point. You, they should have sent Dr. Theopolis with Twiki.
Well, now you're changing my mind, like Dadman changed my mind about the Fifth Element, because now that you bring up the it did happen. The thing is that when you're looking at reaction times, and this is something that is untoward, unknown, they can't know what the physics are going to be when they're transferring from one universe to the other. You're going to need the fastest available reaction time. So now I'm agreeing with you and JT, and well, what can I say? Sometimes minds are changed. But thank you for that, Daisy. That was an excellent point. And JT, excellent points. Thank you.
Well, you guys are now on fire tonight. Yeah, go ahead, JT.
Another science fiction thing, and perhaps Daisy or Hungry, you can help me out here. Okay. The scenes where the council materializes, that room, the computers behind it, the lights up around the wall, that to me was screaming Star Trek, the original series. And I can't put a finger on perhaps what episode that style is reminding me of, but I thought we were going in a very 60s Star Trek direction with the layout of the set, the way that this council is developed, how they interface between the machines and reality. I thought that was, I mean, I had just a ton of fun trying to live in that world and figure it out. I thought it was, I mean, maybe this has existed before, but I thought it was unique in a risk that they took on the show that required some small bone of creativity in some writer's hand somewhere.
Or production designer's hand. A lot of that, some of that, I agree with you completely, is Star Trek TOS, but a lot of it is actually some of the best episodes. And I know people poo-poo the series, but the original 1960s Lost in Space, a lot of that is looking very much like some of the sets in Lost in Space.
Okay.
The ship
I can see that too.
Yes.
But the council, the way they were, the table and how they materialized and stuff, that was
that's Star Trek. That's
the original series. But
the tech behind them is Lost in Space.
Yes.
The tech behind them is lost. It's particularly that big eye thing with the rainbow in it. Yeah.
Right. The size of the room and how it's laid out along the walls. Yeah.
And it's interesting, and I don't know what to make of this, because again, I am going to be the defender of these two episodes against the marauder known as JT Kirk. But that's a Star Trek in joke, because you know he was thought of as a marauder by certain people, so you get that joke. But the thing that I had a trouble with, and I don't have any confirmation of, is that these are beings of light. They basically said that, light energy, and they physicalize in order to talk to our heroes and Ardala, etc. But are they using all that energy to create a physical planet, or at least that meeting room, that conference room? Where did that come from? You know?
Well, and the computer, they went into the computer room, and then they have to fix a physical computer. That bothered me too. Beings of light, how are they creating? Why do they have
buttons and wires?
Computer, right,
cables
buttons and wires, and they're taking off and they're changing the chips out and all that, and I'm going, well, that's a bit odd.
Yes.
This episode reminded me of Errand of Mercy. That was the one I was thinking of.
What is that, a Trek one?
Yes.
Okay.
How do I summarize this quickly? Starfleet and the Klingons were battling, and they thought that this was a low-tech planet that they were kind of fighting over. And it turns out when they were going to come to blows, the Organians are like, no, actually, we're far more powerful, and we will not allow you to harm one another. But they kind of had a similar. They were pacifist in the extreme, kind of like these folks were.
Yeah, but these people were kind of evil too in their own way. Oh, well, we can't defend ourselves and blah 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 blah. But then again, we're going to blackmail you to come into where you can't get out.
We're pacifists, but we're going to hire Genghis Khan to come in and do the war for us.
Yeah,
but we won't let you go unless you help us. Though you can't.
Well, and they sort of knew that both Ardala and the Terrans were at work because they were kind of like, yeah, we invited other people to the party, or we knew that that's what would happen.
Yeah.
And so whoever will help us, that's great.
Can I make a joke from Mark? Just really quickly. It's like the race of the Watchers hiring the Kree and the Skrull to come in and help them, Mark. You know what I mean, Mark. You know the comic book crap. You know. It's ridiculous, but please go on, Daisy. This actually was a sticking point for me. But you know better, Daisy. You know better.
No, I also had it in my notes that why would theoretically they've been beings of light for a very long time. So the first thing was, well, is that a relatively new situation for them, and that they were corporeal prior to this? They had the computers and they had all of these things, physical buildings. The whole, when he landed, first of all, it was all, oh good, they're outside again.
Yeah.
But they walk through this beautiful park and they have waterfalls and normal, plants and flowers and all that. And I'm thinking, again, did they create that looked like old Earth? Did they take it out of Buck's head to look like that? Because the current Terrans don't know exactly what Earth looked like 500 years ago, because there was this huge war that they had, and everything got destroyed. So were these beings like mind reading so they could recreate? That wasn't explained.
No. And no. JT, say something, please.
Something, please.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
I figured that's what was
Johnny Carson. Johnny Carson callback. Nice one.
I was just trying to figure out who was doing what. I knew the one guy was like Mr. Materialism, like out of nowhere, the ringleader, and then the others. Yeah, were sort of. I think Chandra's mother was real, but then she's up there. It was like, who was coming in and out? I mean, it's a Star Trek teleporter episode. Really.
Wardrobe did not help us out here, Dadman. I was also getting confused with some of the minor characters and who was doing what.
I remember
you only know
because
these players very briefly in the story, and it does not help when they all have similar hair in the same color outfits, but yet they're supposed to do different things.
Yeah, except Daisy saying the mom. Daisy saying the mom. She had very different hair, which was very Star Trek.
Yeah, but she was still up on the dais with the council, and it was like, oh wait, is she like?
Well, yeah, they were the chamber. The one guy was called the keeper, the head dude, and the others were called members of the chamber, except for the young lady who met Buck out in the garden when he landed. But I remembered the mom because I was looking at all those braids going, nope, don't care how long your hair is. That's not happening.
Yeah. Not the guardian, but the keeper.
Yeah, the keeper, not the guardian.
Yep. All right. Well, any other points that y'all want to cover real quick? Is there anything in your notes that y'all felt like coming up? And while you review it, I really love the pew pew in this one. This one was satisfying to me from the pew pew standpoint. Go ahead and take this with you then. Go ahead.
The ships between the Draconians and the Terrans, I did not think that was very well done. You can tell that they're not moving.
And the sharks, the ones were sharks. They called sharks. They look like sharks. It was not the best well made, but I mean, it gave me the action I've wanted to do. But I'm sorry, JT, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was pretty much done on that part, but I did like some of the other space scenes, especially where the larger, I think it was a Corvette or a cruiser that they called it, crashed into the energy field at the end.
Oh, that thing looked like a flying V or something. That thing looked like, I was trying to place it. I don't know if it was like the Razor's Crest from Mandalorian. It looked like I'd seen it somewhere before.
Butterfly wings almost.
Yeah,
and
but it looked like
four things. Yeah, the shape. I know what the main.
It's a weird shape that I've seen somewhere.
Weird color butterfly things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
then they kept reusing when they were blowing up things with the sharks and and all that. They kept reusing the scenes over and over, and I'm going, come on, guys. I know that special effects are very expensive, but you can't do it that quickly. Everybody's gonna pick up on that.
But it's okay. I mean, I gave me the pew pew, so I'm happy. You know, at least they didn't do it to the level Space Mutiny did, where they just took Battlestar Galactica and kept
Space Mutiny. That's an MST3K reference, folks. MST3K reference.
But I like the pew pew. We had the gunfights in the hallways and everywhere. So to me, it was a good way to end this season. So, guys, go ahead, JT. And as I said, if y'all have any final notes, make sure y'all have covered what you want to in your notes. But go ahead,
and
JT.
by the way, we're still going to be talking about episode 2, or are you saying final notes for everything?
Final notes for both these together. So let's go ahead and
cover
what we got. We're at almost 2 hours right now.
There's a scene, a quick cut between Buck in his fighter and one of or maybe it was Wilma. I think it might have been Wilma, and the flight leader for the Draconians, and they're giving, especially the Draconian is seen giving the thumbs up to Wilma. Why?
Yeah, that was
how the hell is she going to see that? I mean, I know they did it because that's like what you would do in World War II movies to one another, but there's no way you're going to see that.
No, I don't know. I think that gets back to where we are comfortable suspending belief and stuff like that. See, that one didn't bother me. I kind of laughed about that one. I thought it was kind of goofy. It was so awkward the way he did it, and like I said, I think everything depends on kind of what you like and what you see. See, this type of episode, I was in a better mood. We had some pew-pews and all this other stuff. So I probably was in a better mood to receive it than maybe you were with that. Phantom says, yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, Phantom said, Buck, you never use psychological warfare, especially from those on other dimensions, playing either safety dance. You can sing. Hungry, I got to do that song for you one night. You got to come to karaoke one night. Or Baby Shark would weaken their wills to fight or live. LOL.
Baby shark, baby shark.
I don't know. I like to torture Hungry with safety nets. Everybody look at your hands.
Now, what did everybody think of the robot that was
the bad Dalek, the cheap Dalek? The cheap Dalek? Yep. Oh, it offended me. That's the only thing that exterminate.
Well, it's a cheap one, so it's only annihilate.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
How did that look like a salt shaker to me? You talk about the one that was in the.
It was funny. Whoever was controlling it with the remote control was terrible, and it couldn't just spin. It had to make a 3-point turn. It had to back up and go forward and back, and then go back out of the room. And I'm like, oh my God, why did you bother?
Are you talking about the one that came in and was helping Twiki, and he and Twiki were kind of going at it? Yep. That is not compute.
Yeah, the lighted salad bowl on its head.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. See, I know it was a terrible robot, but I loved the play between the two of them for the comic relief.
Agreed.
I did think it was very cute.
speaking of that, this is for JT, who is probably the biggest Star Trek fan out of all of us here, although that could be Daisy, I'm not sure. But there were the moments where they're going through the vortex, and you have the Draconian crew, Ardala, Kane, Hewer, and Wilma all doing the Star Trek. Okay, lean to left for the camera, lean right for the camera.
Yes.
To try to make it look like it was shaking, and that was just fantastic. And then Ardala says, well, they could have had the courtesy to warn us about this. That's fantastic.
And they don't always lean in the same direction.
No, they don't.
They don't. That's I also thought when they were going through the tunnel or whatever, the warp, I was waiting to hear from the motion picture, photon torpedoes.
Oh, away. Nice.
They never did. I was,
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Dadman, I don't know if you've seen the motion picture lately, but that's like a classic meme joke part of that movie.
Yes.
I will say
getting stretched.
No, we were talking about that in this, when that movie came out. For us Gen X kids, we were at lunch break. Photon torpedoes, making jokes about it. Before there were memes, there were physical voices, right, Daisy?
Yes.
We made actual jokes.
Let's see.
The guys made a joke about that because the lady who's got the shaved head, she was an actual model. At least that's what I'm told.
Yes, she was.
So when they would do the ship doing its thing and everyone's bouncing around, when she was bouncing around, some of her was doing quite a bit of bouncing in that costume, and that's what the boys in my high school were talking about.
Yeah, understood. I was more into her gal, so I didn't give a damn about her, but that's okay. But also bringing up this stuff that slightly to get JT going again on the Star Trek thing. There was a moment when Buck is fighting off the other security guards, sentries, whatever we want to call them. And there is a moment where he shoots and it actually hits a crate 3 feet in front of the guy.
Well, the guy
doesn't hit the guy, and the guy goes down immediately.
I noticed that too. Yeah,
it was like stormtrooper level of
It's just a ricochet.
The one final thing I'll say on my notes before we go to everybody else here, the whole we just need to find the one bad circuit and then it will all work. That's another trope, and that's one I personally cannot stand because it's so obviously there to try and create artificial tension, and I cannot stand that every time.
Okay.
Because it's
I know it's always just one thing.
Exactly right when you need it.
You sound like my wife in my sausages, She's always, I kept saying we went to one more sausage and I couldn't eat it. So but it was one too many.
Yeah. But Twiggy's holding a soldering iron, which I think is kind of funny, working on those circuits with his claw hand. But I just wish that would not be a plot device that writers would use because it's too easy and I don't like it. But anyway, you may or may not be surprised by my final score, but that was it for the notes I wanted to bring up this evening.
All right, Daisy, do you have any other notes?
I'm perusing my notes right now.
Okay, Hungry, you can peruse because what I want to do is take a look about a few minutes with what we have left after. It's kind of just do a brief look back at the good and the bad of the season so far.
Oh, good.
So I want to do that. So I want to go bring us to a conclusion on this one, though. Hit the high points. Thank you to everybody that's been in here for us tonight that come in and come through. And I will preview it because Buddy Hepburn said these are his least favorites of the first season.
Nobody knows.
We'll see.
We
will see.
Even worse than Gary Coleman? Come on.
Oh, buddy.
Wow, at least JT kind of conceded something there with that one.
Well, the one where they repeated, it was a repeat of the whole season. They just did bits and
The
bobs.
clip
That one
episode.
was horrible.
The New Year's Eve episode with Gary
Yes.
Coleman again.
Yeah, we want to do a Happy New Year's for you, but anyway. But yeah, so Daisy or Hungry, if y'all have anything more, let's go through it. If not, then we'll. If you think about something in the meantime,
most of my final notes.
Mark D with a C is voting for second.
Yeah.
Look, Mark D with a C apparently is voting on us to do season 2.
Dude, I'm there. I suggested it. I suggested it, Mark. I'm just saying that, Daisy and JT may not like season 2 as much. And Mark, you and I and other people have spoken about Space 1999, the difference between season 1 and season 2. Kind of the same thing here, but
we'll see. We'll have a few weeks to make a decision on things. So
season 2 of Buck is like Toho. Okay, it's like Toho Godzilla films from the 1970s. That's what it's like.
That sounds good. And Mark D with a C, big changes. Yeah, we just found out a few big changes that kind of shocked us. Yeah, huge. But the thing is like, dude, that guy's freaking hair. He's Hulk. I mean, that just was like. Ugh. But maybe I'll have to do that. So
you got your notes ready, Daisy?
No. So Buddy said the Garrett ones are what they are. They had
good.
So much potential with the cast, but the story makes them worse. So okay, Daisy.
No, I said I'm good.
Oh, you're good. Okay, Hungry. Any last notes on this one before we grade it and move on to review?
You know I am an Ardala fan. I am a Wilma fan, but I'm an Ardala fan. So I just want to bring up a couple of things, some great lines that she brings up. I mean, this was a script episode. It really was. It was a dialogue 2 episodes. It was all about the dialogue. And so you have this whole thing is becoming an incredible bore. That's one great line. And then you have, they have no choice and I need your help. That is fantastic. And then she says, am I unfashionably early or unforgivably late?
I like that one.
That one. Absolutely. Absolutely. Then you have a great line from Buck, who says, oh no, Zarina, then you will wish that you had killed me. Great line. Mm-hmm. And then you have one of my absolute favorite lines when Buck's saying, go start up the shuttle to Ardala. And she says, princesses don't start star engines.
Yes.
She was crawling around on the floor and
I know
saying, this is undignified or something.
Yeah, no. Oh, this is so degrading. This is so degrading.
What's the obsession on this show with powerful women trying to concubinize, if that's not a word, the men? I
don't know, but there was a lot of Ardala flouncing in this episode. I mean, Buck pulling her through a door. She flounces. Her head goes back. Her hair goes everywhere. She gets upset. She turns her head. The hair flounces. And then there is this one last thing I'm going to say, this great moment where they're getting into the final battle and Kane has finally got the power that he wants because Princess Ardala is no longer there. And he's saying things like, you will be prepared for the final battle. And he's going on. And she looks so bored and piqued and peeves at his ambitions and just says, shut up, Kane. Shut up.
Yes. And I'm clapping.
He's about to give the big majestic speech and she's like rolling her eyes.
And then he goes, yes, princess, or something like that to answer her.
God, it's like the missus cuts me off and I'm in a long, good, rampaging speech to butter everything up. And she's like, get on with it. So anyway, it's like, I've seen that look before.
Yes.
Exactly. All right. Well, let us go ahead then, and we will do our evaluations of this one, the last 2-part episode of the first season. Let's see. Hungry Boy, you're going first. I want to hear your cases for good of this. So where do you go on your grading scale?
Okay, this is let the battle begin, JT. Let the battle begin. All right, so number 1, I'm a big fan of stage plays and funny stage plays and bon mots, which is often mispronounced bon mots. And there were a lot of bon mots in this episode. And that will always, ever since I was a kid, that would get to me. And that's why I like Magnum P.I. right? Because of all the humor in the comedy. And we had so much humor in this, and it was so good. And I'm even looking at it 40 years later, more than 40 years. I'm loving these lines. I'm loving this dialogue. That makes it a 10 out of 10 for me. Also, the special effects, they finally, I get the impression Glenn A. Larson thought maybe the series was going to be canceled, didn't have a guarantee of season 2. And I thought the special effects compared to a lot of the other episodes, most of the other episodes, were much better. We had 3 different types of starships with pew-pew in this. We had the sharks. I like the shark design, that white and red design, and it's a little bit more missile-shaped. I thought that was great. We had the backgrounds behind people once they had gone through the planetary shield. The planetary shield itself looked really nice. I really did enjoy the strategic notion of letting Zarina's battle cruiser get partway into the shield and then closing the shield to destroy them. I thought that was beautifully done and well realized. I thought Sid Haig was a magnificent secondary in command. He was like the alternate universe version of Kane, but he was more competent. Sadly, they did not give Sid Haig more lines. So that brings it down to like a 9. But the moment, oh my God, this just, let me find my notes. The moment where Zarina says to Ardala, "I am a woman and you are a little girl." That sunk it for me. That brought it up to an A+. So I'm giving it an A+.
All right. Daisy Blossom, where do you find yourself on this one?
Oh, I was waiting for the rebuttal from JT.
Okay, we'll go to rebuttal. All right. Let's go, JT.
So
you're on the clock.
To be fair, I think everybody else brought the opinion of this episode up for me. And the more I got to reflect on this with the group, I think I was more positive than when I started out this evening. So, which is good because you want to love things that, like this. You don't want to come on here and just tear it all apart, right? You do want to enjoy stuff. So thank you for that. However, I do still have some problems with this episode. One of them is style and one of them is substance. I thought this episode did not need to be a 2-parter. I really did get bored in a lot of the middle, and I thought they could have cut out a lot of the exposition in this episode and made it neat and trimmed it down to 1 and been totally fine. I thought they didn't have too much plot that was extraneous or unneeded. There was just too much talking. And so that brought this episode down for me. I know I'm not one that needs the pew-pew, but it was just tasking to get to the end at moments. The pacing was not all there for me. The other thing that I thought was a problem, it was substance here. I thought that even though they were coerced into helping, I thought at the end all was forgiven with that a little too easily. I thought they could have done a slightly different ending. And I'm watching this with Star Trek glasses, right?
Of course,
that they coerced Buck and Wilma and the Draconians to help them. I think they could have kept the Draconians and the Terrans working together as a very interesting, almost Klingon TNG type of a feel where your old enemies are now uneasy allies. And that would be fantastic for a season 2. But then you make these alternate universe people both your enemy because and I'm sorry, I forget the name of the species that brought them in there in the first place.
They come from Pendar. Pendarians.
Yes, Pendarians were immoral people for doing what they did. Using these people, even though they attacked you. I don't think they had the right or that they were good or moral for doing what they did. And the show kind of brushed that aside too easily for me. Now, I haven't seen season 2, so maybe that's explored more. But for those 2 reasons, I give this a 7 out of 10.
Wow, that's higher than I expected you to be.
Oh no, there was a lot of good. There was a lot of good to it, and I think everybody here made me see it. But for those two reasons, I just,
What would you have graded it before that point?
Probably a 5. I think my boredom in certain stretches just left me with somewhat of a sour feeling. But some of the other aspects really brought it up for me. So, I mean, Hungry, you did a good job. You gave it an A+. You raised my score a good 20 something percent. So,
but also, no, dude.
But Buddy does agree with JT though on one thing here, that it had been better not to drawn out into 2 episodes. So he does agree with your point on that.
Okay, so like I'm into stage plays and funny stage plays, so I think we could not have done it in 2 episodes and kept the dialogue. But I want to just say to JT, after what you just said, I've actually dropped my score down to like an A- versus an A+. And Daisy understands how drastic that is. But I do appreciate what you said. I think that you said it in a very eloquent, articulate way, but with good foresight. And there were, I do admit now, some significant problems. But that moral problem with the Pandarians, I got so caught up with the fun of the episode, I did tend to forget that. And I just got to give you credit for bringing that back up.
Well, thank you.
All right,
and
Daisy. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, and we'll hand it off.
Okay, so
Scratch. What is my episode 2, season 2, episode 10? Scratch. Oh wow.
We're not going to bring that up for now, Fanty. We're not going to bring that up for now unless we get JT and Daisy willing to commit to season 2, and they need to look at like season 2, episode 2 to decide.
That sounds like some kind of new Pokemon. Okay, but
I was
Daisy,
going to say, did you put a lotion on that? I don't know.
Yeah, but Daisy, please go on.
Typing.
Please go on, Daisy.
So I liked that this very much attempted to be more sci-fi than some of the others have been. They were doing the things with the vortex, black hole traveling, having a map to get through it safely. I realized the budget didn't make that transition through the vortex. That was a bit silly, but at least they were trying to show on their budget, hey, this is not the easiest thing, and it affects you physically when you get through to the other side. They tried to make the other side look different. They had special effects, CGI, I don't know, in the backgrounds to make even space itself look slightly different than the way we envision it with stars. Obviously, when you're in space, you don't see them that way, but instead of a star field, it was these lines, these wavy lines. I did like the shield and what it looked like around the planet. So I did like, and that you're going to an entirely different universe, and now you're interacting with these beings. I too thought that the Pandarans were very high and mighty about we're very peaceful, and we've become so peaceful we don't have a standing army, and yada yada yada. And I'm like, yeah, but you're enslaving these bugs, and you've kidnapped people from another galaxy to fight for you. I would have liked them to spend a little bit more time on that, but I did like I think they were called the Zod, the witches group.
Yes.
I happened to like the way she was acting, but I can see where that would be like, okay, this is silly. This is taking too long. I liked her affect, the way she spoke, the way she held her hands, all of that. But that's something that I like, and I could see a lot of people going, this is why, whatever, get on with it. Give me some more pew-pew.
Is there a Zod, a General Zod?
Yes, that too.
Anyway, whenever you say Zod, sorry, I squirrel. over there.
No, that's okay. I
Hey,
thought
Shooter!
that
Shooter!
Yeah.
Hello, Shooter. Hello.
Well, welcome. Thanks for coming by. 22 likes. We've got 22 likes tonight. Holy crap. And we also got
Excellent.
Is that
Sci-Fi
good?
Nation. I think it's wonderful. And we got a new
good.
sub at Sci-Fi Nation tonight.
Oh, good. I'll be
it's
right
been a
back.
great
1
night
second.
with you guys. Kneel before Zod. Yes. Okay. Daisy, so where do
Yeah,
you,
from Superman.
so where do you think
but
this would go on your...
I don't think that's how they pronounced it. It sounded more like when they spelled it, it was Z-A-A-D. But they
Zod, yeah, Z-A-A-D. It's a different type.
Zod, yeah, but they were saying Zod. So yeah, I was thinking Superman too. But I was entertained. It had a lot of problems, which we brought up. But I was entertained. I think maybe it could have been not one episode, but maybe, I don't know. It's hard to say. If they'd focused on a few other things, it was fine for me for it to be 2. But I think their focus went in places that I wasn't quite as interested with. But I would give it a good grade, and I'm going to go with an A- because I did enjoy it.
Okay. We got A- there. We got, I guess, Hungry shifted down to the A-. JT's at a 70, which is a C. I will get, because I do it out of popcorn buckets. I'm going to go with 4.5 out of. What am I doing? 4 or 5? I'll do it on 5. I'll do 4.5.
What?
Jumbo tub popcorn with this episode.
How dare you, sir? How dare you?
No.
Does that have flavoring in it too, or did you just go classic butter?
Classic butter. Only classic butter.
Okay.
But why are you yelling at me on that? That's like 4.5 out of 5.
Grade.
That's a really good grade. It's like,
I know. I'm kidding. I'm just kidding.
The big thing, I do think it needed to be 2 episodes. I think 2 episodes. I can see. I think the problem is if you cut too much, you would have ended up with 1.5 episodes.
Yeah,
I can see where you might have been able to get some, but you really still would have been left hanging with some of the stuff that would not have been explained. So that's where I think the 2 was better, especially since they ran them together and not having to make week to week.
It feels like it should have been a book. The
maybe.
2 episodes probably would have made a really nice book.
Yeah,
a 1950s 190-page book. Yes, JT.
And I loved the pew pew. I'm sorry, even if there were some technical things, even if we had the bad language dub with the shot 3 feet in front of the guy and he still gets hit. There was so much in this. It reminded me of
bad language dub. You're speaking in code for a Japanese movie on MSD3K.
Well, yeah,
Invasion of the Neptune Men. I know the one you're talking about.
But
yes.
you guys. I mean, y'all don't like, because I know there's a difference in sci-fi and sci-fantasy. To me, it's what I always thought would be sci-fi, which is shoot, bang, bang, blow up, everything and stuff like that. And I actually. This was one of the better episodes I've seen. Now, what's funny is I was watching this with my mom today, and she's like, "I never watched this crap." And I'm like, "Where'd you get it? Your dad and I would have never watched this." I'm like, "How'd you watch it?" I don't remember how, but hey, I just remember Buck Rogers. But that's the thing is, I really liked. I like this too. And actually, I'm going to star this just for a second. Okay. I'm going to
good.
Star this. Come back to this. Because that's where we end up with this episode too. I liked it. It gave me what I wanted. I did. All of y'all had great comments. Yeah, these great pacifists with their little hidden agenda, kind of a little realistic. Like, hey, we're saying we're pacifists, but are we really? In the end of it, but great episode. I thought it was a great way to end the first season. So we'll get back in a couple weeks and see, and we'll take a look and we'll go and consult and see what our next step is. And, I mean, there's a lot of, I've seen other comments about pushing for season 2. So
I honestly hope, I hope that Daisy and JT will take a look at just 1 episode of season 2 and be willing to do it. But if they're not willing to do it, I will completely understand.
How many episodes though? It's only 13 episodes. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
I'll watch at least 1. I mean, I don't want to let 1 sway my opinion totally all the way. Dadman, I think you brought up a good point right at the end of your closing thought. This was a great way to end season 1. Oftentimes, season finales are there to set up what they hope is a renewal from the studio type of setup, right? This one did not feel quite so staged. It was an actual story, not what you see so often where it's like, oh, okay, we get it, what you're trying to do here. So
they could have ended the series, then they had a closing point, because just boom, they could have closed it, because you didn't leave it hanging for the next season.
Well, can we bring up something to what JT and you were saying there is, and I think Daisy will agree with this. When we see the final closing moments between Buck and Ardala, I mean, they are making smoky look eyes at each other. And it's clear that Buck's opinion of Ardala has changed, and she's respecting him in a way where she's not just, you remember the previous time when she wanted him to be a member of her harem, her female harem? That has changed totally in this end moment. And he actually kisses her hand in a respectful, non-sarcastic way. And she says, I must leave now. She doesn't wait for him. That is a total change of character. And that just tells me that the people making this, they weren't sure they were going to get a season 2. So they thought, we're going to close this off in as classy a way as we possibly can. And I thought it was quite classy.
Yeah. Yep,
absolutely. I'd like to ask Hungry, if I'm going to watch 1 or 2 episodes of the next season, do you have a suggestion? Because I was just gonna pick 2, and because I'm kind of like JT.
I don't want to affect your opinion, so I would think randomly choosing 2 is a better idea, because then you'll get an idea if you can sit through the whole season.
Okay, thank you.
And that's out of respect to your intelligence, your intellect, and your cultural understanding. So I would rather you randomly choose 2, if you don't mind.
Okay, that'll be fine. Thank you.
That goes for you too, JT.
Sure. I'm looking at them right now, trying to pick the 2.
Mine are in the other room, so I can't do that right now. I'll figure it out. I have the DVD. I'll figure it out.
I'm just gonna say there are 2 excruciating episodes in season 2, but we had 3 excruciating episodes in this season. So we have to be fair.
Both of them.
Oh God, I hope not. Oh no. Oh no.
It's just my luck. I'll pick both of them and go, okay, I'm done. It's okay. I'll suffer through.
I'm actually thinking JT would do that as well. He'd probably pick the worst too.
Let's see here. Season 1, what a journey. I'm not saying that just to be tongue in cheek. No, it has been quite the journey.
Yeah. Can you notice the difference in titles in season 2 versus season 1? I mean, you can tell the writing has changed.
Yes. Oh, yes.
It's so lost in space, dude. It's so lost in space. That's not to scare you off, Daisy. That's not to scare you off. But
I like Lost in Space, but
good. That I think will help you with season 2 of Buck. I do think. With JT, I'm not too sure. Not too sure, because season 2 of Buck is kind of like season 2.5 of Lost in Space when they start doing the goofy ass plots, But a lot of them are very enjoyable.
If I can make it through season 1 of The Next Generation, I can probably make it through season 2.
Yeah, that was tough. Coming up.
Oh, wait a second, hold on. No, for Daisy and JT, hold on, my fellow ST fans. What about the end of Deep Space Nine, the last 9 eps of those? I mean, dude, that could be a bit painful.
Like sands through the hourglass, so are the days of our lives.
Exactly.
Our lives.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yep.
Come on, Dadman, say something. You're the host.
I'm just waiting. Y'all are on a roll right there with this stuff. So, well, we do need to get closing soon.
Yeah, we do.
I do have to get going, and was hoping to give a little more time with that. So Buddy says to give the first 2 episodes. So remember, shorter season 2, a writer's strike. But it looked like some of the writers stopped even before the strike started. So, but we'll look at things with that. Looking back briefly, what are some of the good points of the? Well, let's start on the bad note. Let's start. What was probably the worst thing of this first season? And I'm gonna tell you what it was. Was not necessarily the first Gary Coleman episode, but the second one. The basically we're lied to waste our time to watch the show for an hour of nothing but retreaded clips and a bad New Year's Eve joke. So
yep, I agree.
That was probably the low point I think of this season.
I agree.
I don't think you're going to get any arguments out of us on that one.
We'll agree on that one.
And Snortopoopas is going to go get some sleep. Good night, sir. Take care. All the best to you.
Snorty.
Exactly. All right. So then, well, if we agree with that, what about high points? What is your magical moment? What is your high point of this season? Mine's obviously going to be the way it ended. I like the way they ended the season. High notes, teasing Adala. We had just all this stuff. Although I do say this bothers me a little bit more, the way they threw Alana in there at the beginning of this episode was kind of like, now, why? You just rained on everybody's parade about anything potentially Wilma. But just kind of, but I mean, that's my thing. But I think this last episode really was a good ending season for me and put it out on a high note, because there for a while the episodes are dragging a little, and the last few weeks really have had some good episodes. So I think,
well, can we bring up the Alana thing for just one moment to agree with you, because that was one of my only situations in these 2 episodes, is that we already had it established that Buck had such a big thing with Jennifer, and that was holding him back from other romantic relationships, and yet, hey, let's have a wild weekend with Alana. It was kind of incongruity. I do not like incongruity. So that was a low.
I didn't appreciate that either. Yeah.
Thank you. You know what I mean, Daisy. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's like
for me, probably, outside of the 2 that have already been mentioned, the weakest point of the season is the inconsistency in quality from episode to episode, which is one of the most difficult things to do when you have a season of 23 episodes, or 20, depending on how you want to split up the 2-parters. You have a big, maybe not such a large budget, but you have a big space to fill.
And, Olympiad episode called Olympiad. No, but no, I get
or Blast for Buck.
Oh no, the clip show. I hate clip shows.
Yeah, I would have been okay with one less episode.
Yep. No, I got you.
So, yeah, that for the weakness, I would say that's it.
But we had the Jamie Lee Curtis episode, and that absolves a lot of sins, to sound Catholic. That absolves a lot of sins. And I adore that episode. I think that's one of the top 10 episodes, top 5, in fact, of Buck in this season, or actually in season 2 as well. And Jamie Lee Curtis did a wonderful job, even though it's not something she wanted to do. And Buck did a great job acting alongside her. And they had that little bit of moment, but, they didn't actually do the Alana thing, if you know what I mean. They didn't actually have that. But it was a wonderful episode, but it does not excuse the Gary Coleman episodes. And the first Gary Coleman episode was almost as bad as the second one. Almost.
And good night to Snorty.
Snorty, yes.
Nutty-o, Snorty. Nutty-o.
I would say a couple of high points for me were in the plot to Kill a City. I loved the character of Varric.
Yes.
The gentleman that could phase in and out. And
yes.
The
mutant. Yes. And how the actor portrayed this, okay, our species had, tried to kill each other, and now we're all mutated, and our children don't want to look in mirrors. and he felt so low of himself,
Yes.
no self-esteem. And then as he could see what the others were going to do to Earth, the same thing, blow it up, and their people would be mutated. And he was, talking to the children, and he remembered his own children. That whole arc, even though some of that was quite silly, I really, really loved that character.
Yes.
And so I really liked that two-parter. And I also liked, although I can see why some people wouldn't, the space vampire. I know
Yes.
I love it. No, I
its
love
issues as
that.
well.
I back you up on that. Yes.
But it reminded me of the old black and white, the Universal monsters.
Yes.
Yes.
Of the vampires, of the I can't think of the other monsters' names right now. Anyway, the old black and white, like the Mummy and Frankenstein, and how you portray those. I know it had issues, but I really enjoyed that for that reason. The callbacks.
Yes.
Callbacks. Yep.
And for me, if I agree with what everybody has said. I've agreed with what everybody said so far. I think one of the biggest things that I really enjoyed in this season are all of the women in every single one of these. And I'm saying that from 2023, 2024, looking backwards. And you really get an appreciation for how they were written. Now, the modern audiences, quote unquote, would say, well, how dare you put this kind of makeup on them, or how dare you dress them in these types of clothes? One, this was a time period. Two, why can you not? I'm not saying that anyone should be forced to wear something that's degrading, but I don't think any of the costumes were ever quite that way. Outside of a couple malfunctions, I thought probably should have been reshot. But the point being, women were allowed to be beautiful and pleasing towards men, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, despite what our society says today. But more than that, the women were all different people. All of these actresses played different characters so often now, and it's getting rather boring watching show after show where every woman weighs 90 pounds and nothing, is not allowed to look as attractive as they possibly can on screen. They all can just destroy 300 pounds of solid muscle men. Their boyfriends are weak, effeminate, overly emotional, and the women have to be there to support the men as the primary person, and that's all you get. And then they're frantically emotional for stupid reasons quite often, and none of them are ever mothers.
Well, frantically emotional. Frantically emotional used to be called histrionic, but that word has, although that word has been around for over 70 years, it's being taken out of the medical psychological lexicon now for dumbass reasons. But please go on. I just want to back you up with that. Histrionic behavior is what it used to be referred to. Right?
Thank you. Eloquently said. Thank you. And so you look at what this modern archetype of the female is, and then you look back at all of these women, and they are all different. I mean, the main woman in Olympiad versus the main woman in A Dream of Jennifer versus Wilma in Space Vampire versus what she has to do in Our Dollar Returns or Cruise of the Ship to the Stars.
There and Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yes. And the woman in Planet of the Involuntary Laborer Girls. To make sure YouTube likes us still. There are different women in that. And I just love the diversity. I know I'm using like
you mean
all
the
these
real diversity,
yes,
diversity.
Yeah.
I know I'm using all of these maybe left of whatever political buzzwords, but I don't mean that at all. I mean this from a literary sense. You
Yes.
get different characters, and it's engaging because you don't go in like with a sigh in the first 10 seconds. Okay, this.
Right.
Now I know the whole episode and I know the whole season because you write the exact same thing every time. I thought it was a refreshing and fun journey because you got that uniqueness.
And to agree with you, there is a big difference between a suffragette and a buzz feeder.
Yes. Yes.
Daisy knows what I mean as well, too.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I would agree. I would
go ahead, Daisy.
Like, as a woman.
Yeah.
I'm often told that of how I should. It's funny because they're all, oh, well, men shouldn't tell you how to dress. But you're telling me how to do that and what I can and can't wear. And it's very annoying to me that young people are like, oh no, the women in the past, they weren't strong. They were all crying. They were all histrionic. And they weren't leaders. And I'm going, I don't know what old movies you guys are watching, but you've lost something in translation.
Yeah.
Even some of the women in this who had to play, oh, Buck, please come save me. They had a purpose. They had a reason for doing that. And there's a strength in that. There's I have to do this because if I don't, then something bad will happen. And so this is what I'm going to do. And that the women could be dressed in outfits. I mean, Ardala can stomp around and be the princess in all kinds of outfits. You don't ever think, well, she's not entirely capable of telling them to fire every rocket they have and kill you.
Exactly.
And I appreciate all that. I really don't understand this modern audience craziness. There was also, say, different diversity of melanin, and nobody pointed it out. It wasn't like that was a big deal. It just was. There were characters, and they were characters, and you didn't stop and think about it.
For both the men and the women, Daisy.
Correct.
Both the men and the women.
Yes. And the men were allowed to be strong. Yes, they could be sensitive. They could have, like, I think it got overdone a little bit, but Buck could be upset. I'm 500 years old. Everything, everyone, all of my past is gone.
I mean, I dream of Jennifer. That was terrible.
Yes. Right. I had this woman that I was going to go back to. I was going to give up being an astronaut and go be with her. And then I got thrown 500 years into the future. But he could still be this very strong person. I liked that.
Exactly. Well said.
I mean, Buck, and I think JT would agree with this, even though he prefers the slightly tougher guys. I mean, Buck had so many sensitive sides that he was allowed to show in this first season. And that was a first season being produced in 1978, being first shown in 1979, and then carrying on to the early part of 1980. This was the era of Ronnie Reagan. And that is an amazing thing to pull off on a sci-fi show. An amazing thing to pull off. And to have Princess Ardala be so tough but so sensitive. I mean, one of Daisy's favorite moments that you mentioned a couple of weeks ago, when she's looking in the mirror after Buck has rejected her, and she has tears coming down her eyes, but then she chooses for the magic mirror to show her the planets that Draconia has conquered and remind herself she still has value. That was an amazing moment. I'm getting goosebumps on my legs just talking about it. But, you know, in these past two episodes we talked about tonight, same thing. She became a toughen. She got tough. And they had that wonderful moment at the end. And the ability for characters to grow over the course of their character arc is a large part of what good science fiction is about. And I think you, Daisy, and JT would agree with that, wouldn't you?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, sometimes you have a reverse character arc, and we had that a little bit with Buck.
Mm-hmm.
But with JT, I'm sure you're going to know about this. The TOS episode called Obsession, where Kirk is going after the vampiric cloud creature. And
yes.
Dude, he's turned into Captain Ahab going after the white whale.
Yes.
I mean, Kirk is nuts in that episode. But it's showing, it's allowing us, the audience, to embrace him as going nuts and coming back. It's showing respect to the intellect of the audience. And I do think that oftentimes, as much as it could, Buck Rogers, season 1, attempted that for us.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Say something, guys.
Oh, I thought Dadman was getting ready to roll into something there.
Dadman was going to say something.
No, it's all good. I'm going to have to wrap up in a minute because I see the time and we're going to have to go because I got to go relieve the missus over my money. I smell honey. Yes.
Oh, Mark,
exactly.
Mark. Oh, no, Mark. No, you're married. You can't say that. You're married, Mark. No, Mark. No. However, the thing is, if Mark can say, I smell honey, then Daisy can look at a lot of episodes of Buck Rogers and say, I smell beef cooking on the barbecue. You know what I mean, Daisy?
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly.
No. I mean, Daisy, let's admit, as a credit to this show, before we close off, there was as much beefcake for the ladies as there was cheesecake for the men.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. We had the slave auction. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
And also Duel to the Death with Buck playing off against the guy from the sequel to Every Which Way You Can. It was one, Clint Eastwood with the monkey, the chimpanzee. But that guy, my God, his physique, the way he looked at the camera, the way he used his voice, that was all for the ladies, not for us. That was all for whose microphone is making that noise?
I don't know.
Is it mine?
I'm not touching mine.
I didn't hear anything, so maybe it was me. Apologies.
That's okay. That's all right.
Yep. So folks, it's been a great first season with this. So, it's been a great first season with this crew here, and love these guys too. It's been fun, and we'll come back. We'll probably, and maybe we'll, in our first part of the second season or whatever we do, however we reform and come back, maybe we'll look back a little bit and kick it off. But hey, thank you. We got 8 people still here with us tonight. Thanks for coming in and helping. And listen, you guys have a great day. And Mikey Susie Ford, thank you for coming in at the ending.
Thank you, Mikey.
Yes, remember, Mrs. Dadman Walking, JT, if you can put her link in the chat for me real quick. 10 a.m. most every morning, except when things happen. But she will be there tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. and a little different format this weekend. But hey, wonderful things, wonderful show. Go back, check her channel out, check everything out, subscribe to her. Guys, y'all are wonderful, and y'all made this a great first season. And I will not have any real streams. It'll be random over the weekend if I do anything. But the next stream is Tuesday night at 10 p.m. with Theme Park Casual. Looking forward to talking theme parks and stuff with him. Very much so. And on that note, JT, Daisy, and Hungry, any last thoughts?
Daisy?
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, chat. Thank you for everyone who showed up every week. You guys are amazing. And thank you to my panel members.
Yay.
Yes. And thank you.
Thank you.
I would just like to say final thoughts. What does beady 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 mean?
It means like booty, booty, booty. It means booty, booty, booty. Yes. Looking at Wilma walking away from the camera, it means booty, booty, booty.
Yay. Yep.
And thank you to the chat as well,
Exactly.
and to the panel. Like Daisy was saying, this was an awesome journey through the stars. So lots of fun. I really relished the experience.
Exactly. All right, folks. And on that note, I have got to get running. I have got to relieve the missus so she can get home. You guys have a great day, night, and everything, and have a great weekend. And we will see you next time. Bye, all.
Bye.
Bye-bye.